Welcome back, travelers, to the Dragonleaf, the tea house where tales are told. This is part 2 of our dive into the weird Fey world beneath the McGurmick farm. As our family takes a much-needed rest after the defeat of the creature pretending to be Lysira McGurmick, and the real Lysira McGurmick rushing towards the side of her children, those who had been held captive within this Fey realm now take a much-needed rest, and our allies sit magically performing spells in order to ascertain the nature of the magic items that they had held previously. That is where we'll jump back in. So, everybody, as you are sitting down, let me just start out with doling out loot. During the rest, first of all, as you are looking on towards this madness that's happening, you see the drow woman approach and says, "If you have the time, here, this as well." And she pulls something out from her cloak and hands it to you.
Want to switch cameras?
Absolutely.
Oh, hello.
It is time to open up shop.
I was like, are we not opening up?
No, we don't. You
forever.
guys are not relevant, right?
Oh,
This is my show.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
as we look onwards towards all this, the drow woman pulls a object from her cloak and hands it to Killian to identify if you've the time.
Sure. Yeah, I should have time. Here, and I give her back her dog tags.
Thank you. Takes it. She clasps it back together. You can see it's like a tearaway, and throws it back on her neck. She hands you. Let me go ahead and find this for a brief moment.
During this rest, Vincent's gonna hop up on one of these little cage thingies and just sit down and starts playing quite a nice melody to just kind of relax the crowd. So if anyone is able to heal hit dice, they will gain additional hit dice with this song of rest.
Go ahead and roll a performance check for me as well.
If I spend 55 minutes of this rest casting Identify, I won't gain the benefits of a short rest,
I
correct?
think we've always done it where you still do, but unless Adrian wishes to change that.
No, especially if you're casting as a ritual. I don't think it's incredibly strenuous. I think you can absolutely cast a ritual as part of a short rest.
Awesome.
23 performance.
23,
Sick
perfect.
performance.
It's pretty amazing. Unfortunately, I have
Shameless
not bought
artist.
enough time for myself to see what this item was that she had. Perfect time.
It's very sensual and relaxing.
As she hands you dang it. I tell you what, I'll get back to you on that. Because
Sure.
I cannot search through various different programs while all of
All
these other
good.
things are open. So, of the items that you have previously, you were given a wand is the first one that you check out. You have a wand of the War Mage, a +1, a ruby of the War Mage, which allows you to turn a weapon into a spellcasting focus, a Luckstone, which is a flat +1 to your saving throws and ability checks, and specifically, you take interest in an all-purpose tool, which is an item that is specific to artificers. As you are holding the tool, you can transform it into any type of artisan tool of your choice. Whatever form the tool takes, you are proficient with it. While holding the tool, you gain a bonus to your spell attack rolls and saving throw DCs, and that is determined by the rarity of the item. As an action, you can also choose a cantrip you do not know from any class list, and for 8 hours, you can cast that cantrip as though it was on the Artificer class list. Very, very useful for you.
Is that when I search to put it in my inventory, is that a +1?
A +1, yes.
So you have a +1 to your attack rolls and saving throws, as well as the cantrip thing.
Pictured an IKEA Allen key.
It's a Swiss Army knife. As you see, when you begin about 20 minutes in, the drow woman hands you an item and is like, "If you wouldn't mind, And then you're like, sure, and places it down. And then the Dragonborn approaches and takes a cloak off his shoulders. And it's like, this too. And just like stands back with this proud look. And then the artist kind of approaches forward and is just like skewered, has this wound in his open chest and is like, I've got this as well. Takes an amulet off and throws it down and just kind of like collapses to the ground.
She's not a fucking shop.
I'll walk up.
I mean, she has a
it's
shop,
okay.
but
I can do it.
No, Killian, it's fine. Unless you guys are willing to donate this to our cause.
I don't even know what mine is. So I'll tell you what, I'll gamble you for it. And he takes out a small pair of dice.
Let me see those dice first.
No, they're mine.
I'm assuming they're weighted in some sort since you won't let me see them.
Wouldn't do that. Laying on his back. That's funny that you would think that. You're suspicious. He's like delirious right now.
Like, insight check him.
Go ahead and roll insight.
by the way, can we roll a short rest or?
You may
Not yet.
absolutely gain a short rest.
Thank you.
Everyone gains an extra 3 hit points from Song of Rest.
Also,
Yee.
of the performance, you saw the artist was basically humming along with it, and the Dragonborn was like tapping his feet. The drow was sitting back, the human was sitting back, both were just like edgy and moody in the corner. And the other human who was watching the frog bounce tried to catch it during your tune. He felt very invigorated, but the frog bounced away.
18
Fucking
insight
frog.
for the dice.
These frogs are hard to catch. 18 insight. One of these dice is weighted. Because you can see the way he's clutching one of them in his hand. He's like, you can use this one. And he hands you the weighted dice while holding on to the normal one himself.
I'm gonna roll the weighted dice. Does it land on a 6 or a 1?
It was the one.
Thanks, buddy.
Oh, that's what happens when you roll the dice. Those ones specifically.
By the way, Amira, sorry, I'm thinking about that fucking vision. Matilda, that rabbit, it's an almirage. That's a fake creature. We can sell that for a good amount of money if you don't eat it, but I don't know, it's up to you.
I would prefer you not to have to. And she points to the mother and small children, kill something in front of everyone.
Oh, I mean, I could do it over here so they don't have to see.
Halfling pipes up and just says, "Oh, are we having rabbit stew? It's been quite a while since
No.
I've had an eat." No, I'm starving. That's fine.
That
roll
sounds
hit
very
dice.
terrible for you.
It is. I sincerely appreciate that you recognise that.
I rolled 2 1s on my hit die.
You have so much con. You still get a D.
I know.
I found it. The item that the drow had given you previously, Killian, as you identify it as well. So, question, do you take a little bit of a longer short rest in order to identify all of the items that were placed down? Or do you know?
I'll accommodate. People are just kind of relaxing anyway. So
Vincent is gonna try and make, he walked up and he said, unless you guys are willing to donate.
At current, the artist actually had gambled you for it, but honestly, his eyes are closed, he's on his back, and he's mildly delirious. As you rolled a dice, you didn't even say the outcome, and he just started laughing. I'm gonna go ahead and roll a d6 as well. He's just kind of laying there on the ground, and has not really paid much attention to this entire thing. You see the Dragonborn looks over your shoulder and says, "He's cheating, you know."
I know, this dice is weighted.
Disgusting. I would like to donate mine to your cause, whatever it may be. I have no way to discern if it is cursed, of course. But if you wish, once we know what it is, I can attune to it myself. Saviors, you deserve something for your efforts.
Well, let's just see what it is first.
Of course.
Also, I'm
leans
gonna be
back.
taking his.
He took a
Nice.
cloak off.
I know the dude that's currently delirious is on the ground. Also put forth a magic item. Vincent's is
Yeah,
he'll also take his.
As you spend the rest of your short rest with these items, you find that the amulet that was placed down by the man who is now laying on his back and mildly giggling from lack of blood is an amulet of the drunkard. This allows you to imbibe liquor, and it heals you for 44 plus 4 hit points once per day.
Okay.
There is a cloak
sick.
of many fashions, which was the one that was taken off by the Dragonborn previously and was placed down. A cloak that you can shift into various different forms at will. And you have a moon-touched forge stone, which is what was given to you by the drow woman, Selene, as she introduces herself to you previously. The Moontouch Forge Stone allows you, if you take it to someone, even yourself, Killian, because you're proficient with smithing tools, you can craft this into a Moontouched weapon of any kind. So long as you basically use it as a raw material and smith it into the weapon that they're holding.
Okay.
And
what does Moontouched do?
A Moontouched weapon, when you unsheath it, sheds light for 20 feet and dim light for an additional 20, I believe.
It also makes the weapon magical.
In
No
order
plastic,
to
but
Bypass
break through resistances.
Okay.
In darkness, the unsheathed blade sheds moonlight, pure moonlight, in a 15-foot radius, and dim for an additional 15.
What was the cloak?
The cloak was a cloak of many fashions. Do you share this information with the people who are around? Meaning, like, not just the family, but everybody?
Yeah, I wouldn't be keeping it to myself.
Okay. Also, the cloak is actually a bonus action to activate. When you say that, the Dragonborn says, I wouldn't mind purchasing this from you. I imagine I don't have any money on me, but I have a stipend that I could offer you when we return to the city.
What is he wanting to buy?
his cloak back.
The cloak, if you are willing to part with it.
Okay.
Stone would also serve me well.
Talk to my money person, and I point at Vincent.
Ah, the treasurer. Are you interested in this item that I have donated to you, or would you prefer I purchase it off of you? A fair deal, fair coin, of course.
How much? Vincent gives it a look over. Does he know how much something like this would be worth? And
go ahead and roll.
You want me to help you out with that?
This person's bonded, right?
You actually don't know if any of them are bonded. The only one that you could see was clearly bonded was the artist who had his mark like on his throat.
Because Vincent knows what this item does, because of Killian's identification, does Arcana doesn't aid in this, right? It would be just a business thing.
In order to glean the value of a magic item, I would say that that's probably Arcana. And with your I don't think insight would come into play this, so just a straight Arcana check on this.
I can help her with my Arcana proficiency, right?
You absolutely can. Yes.
Or help him.
So Vincent, go ahead and roll with advantage.
Okay. I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Arcana has to do with money, but I will.
Magic items.
It's the magic item, yeah. It's the value of the magic item. Its abilities.
18.
18. Something like this could go for, on the high end, probably like 60 to 70 gold. In order to sell. To purchase would probably be a little under 100. But at market value, it's basically somewhere around 75 gold pieces.
It's a little bit like the cost of a potion and a half. I prefer to keep this, frankly.
Very well. I know very little about magic items myself, save for their functions. The worth of them. Purchasing magic items abroad is not exactly something that occurs. I've heard Amaranth has such commerce.
Are you part of a family?
I have a family back home, but not within Amaranth, so to speak. Bit of traveling. No marks, no bonds to speak of. I'm afraid. I was on my way to Amaranth, you see, to engage in some work. Traveling scholar.
Oh.
What's your study?
Religion. And the history of.
Good place to be for you.
Indeed, the only place to be.
How much do I know about Dragonborn and where they are from in their history?
Go ahead and roll history.
That was an 18.
I remember those days. You are looking through the Rolodex of your mind. The Dragonborn are reclusive. You know next to nothing about them, save for the fact that they seem to come from a location that is an island and rumored to have been beyond the Ocean of the Lost. Within the world itself, you have a veil that seems to sit in a large circle around the poles that begin in the northwest and the southeast of the world. And this veil creates an almost intraversible obstacle for sailors. As when people go into that location, they are either never seen again or their boat drifts back where they are just not on it. The boat itself destroyed. Beyond the Ocean of the Lost, it is said that there is an island of Dragonborn, but the Dragonborn themselves do not share very much information on this.
Cool.
We forgot one more. Amulet of the Drunkard. It's for healing. I would personally want to put it on JoJo. It doesn't require a 2-bit. You just get a free 4d4 plus 4 hit points when you drink some ale from it.
Oh, you want to put it on me? I figured that goes to someone with less hit points.
Well, you're usually the tank, so you take more damage.
Okay, I can take it.
Unless anyone else wants it. Like, Killing could also use it. I'm not sure if your steed can use it, because it doesn't require a 2-min.
I'm sure we can figure that out
How
later.
about I'll take the amulet, you take the Stone of Good Luck.
That seems fair.
Okay. Move things along.
And it is, yeah, 44
JoJo's just like
plus 4.
carrying
Glad
a
I got that.
handful of all these magic items, like, here.
And the Ruby of the War Mage, I'll give it to Matilda for now, because you could use it as spellcasting focus. If you don't want to use your component pouch.
So, also, by nature of these things, you guys would need to spend basically another hour-long rest to attune to any of these.
These aren't to be attuned to, yeah.
I would say the first one that you did was the Wand of the War Mage, so that one can be attuned to. Second one was the Ruby. Third one was the Luckstone. And then, of all of the things that you did, of those 3, people can attune. So, Wand of the War Mage, Ruby of the War Mage, Luckstone. If any of you wanted to attune to those 3, you can.
Oh man, the amulet doesn't need attunement. Sick.
Yeah,
don't
that's
believe
what
so,
I just
yeah.
said. It doesn't require it to. So you can use it on other people.
Yeah. Oh, can you
I'd assume you just
plop it on someone and put
tell
wine
them
down
to
their
drink
face?
it. You drink ale from it. You can use it on other people.
Always good to have a wineskin on you.
Yeah, I need that now.
Okay, so... and previously it was mentioned, too, that, we can hold on to these and we can keep them within the family cellar. You guys would be aware that, families with more magic items, especially those in tow, are more desirable. That can add to the fame of your family, to know that when you walk into the family home and, please bind me, they'll be like, kit out. Here, take this, and here's an axe that glows in the dark. That's cool. Families love that. So that adds to your fame, just having these items, which can also be valuable because fame is difficult to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
It is a valuable resource. So as you all finish your rest and the people around sit in this just abject silence, finally Lysira McGurmick has her child Heb comes to consciousness and just opens his eyes and looks up at his mother. I'm tired, Mama. Just running her hands. Where's father? Yes, have you seen Sealand? She looks around at the adventurers.
He was making his way back to the farm. We found a shortcut ahead of him. He should be here now, but we need to leave this.
With your other son in tow.
Obi. You see, she also has this fog over her mind that's basically I am remembering these things as they come across me. The drow woman has gone from person to person and has just been using the tatters of this clerical robe to attempt to suture them over the short rest. The halfling had been pulled out and rested on the ground. He's like, no, I'll just stay in here. You don't need to. But she's like, nope, you're coming out. He's like, oh, well, all right. Just drags them across the dirt and places them down. As he's like, well, it's a fine cavern we're in anyway. Very colorful. It's nice out here. I'm cold. I wasn't cold in the cage, but I'm cold now. And as all of this slowly unfolds, continue.
During the rest, I just wanted to say I've used 3 more rations to hand them out to the starving people.
Thank you so much. I was so hungry. Always hungry. The Dragonborn says, you should keep the sustenance for yourself. As his stomach just...
I've got plenty.
It was just fire. don't need to worry about it. He takes it. Thank you. Does a fierce bow. I sincerely appreciate this. The human just refuses. The human who's sitting back there just raises his hand and shakes his head, does not utter a word. And the other human during this rest has come to meet with you. Thank you, sincerely. I hope you realize who you're helping. You've earned quite the reputation in the city among me, that's for sure. He reaches a hand out.
Don't know who we're helping.
Harrier Cobbs. And then he waits as though any of you might
know. I recognize that name?
Go ahead and roll history.
I also?
You may. Everyone here can roll history if they wish.
I'm just going to fail it automatically.
Sweet.
14.
Matilda, Jojo, Vincent. Never heard of this guy. Matilda, you're sitting there being like, you do know quite a bit about the history of this world around you. Never heard of this dude at all.
One more time.
Harrier Cobbs. Then he waits again for like applause.
Run a business? Are you an entertainer?
Well, you could say that. I make ale in Helianth. I'm a bit of a big deal over there, but I guess, Amaranth is quite the distance, so can't blame you. Yeah. I was recently employed by Dionysus, the god of wine himself.
You've probably been down here for a very long time. So I don't know when you got shacked up in this place. Fae shit gets real weird. So everyone that you've known, they probably could be dead. Or you've only been here for a short time. We don't know that yet. We'll see.
Well, the dungeon's only been around for 24 years, and he did mention Dionysus, so it hasn't been any longer than that at the very least.
What is the date? What's the date right now? The date.
We vomit the date out.
Yeah.
You say the date.
So this is the exact time.
Yeah, exact time too.
Do you have keen mind?
Yeah, she does.
Yes, I do.
Phenomenal. You guys are currently sitting at 2:35 a.m. On the 9th of High Bloom.
We should get back.
The year 24 after Ashfall. High Bloom is spring, and that is you're at the beginning of the year. You are just 9 days after the beginning of the year. Go ahead, Vince.
Paka, how's the hole coming?
It's pretty much done. It goes down and then goes around a little bit.
Is there a way out?
Out is a relative term. It leads up, which don't ask me how that works.
Can I try to insight? Because like the player, I have no idea what he's talking about.
You don't even need insight. It doesn't make much sense what he's saying. But when he went down, it like goes over and then it goes up, and it basically continues upward past where it should be possible to do so. Because you should hit house, but it doesn't.
But I dug it out, and then it hits like wood. We can go through it.
We're probably gonna come up inside the house.
I guess we'll go to give it I'm still confused if there's no end to the tunnel, but Vincent will try to go.
So this is what he was looking at. It goes down. Oh, my drawing's going wild. There you go. That's what it is. Hope that clears up. Perfect. I'm glad. It goes down, over, and then continues up past where it should even be possible, and then there's wood. That's what he says.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a big old gym.
Is this like a straight up thing that people holding babies will be able to climb up, or is this like?
I'm very good at what I do. There are handholds, and I can carry babies.
Then Paka just runs over to this woman, and it's like with a big backpack on. It's just like, "Give me your baby."
Paka, that's not really how you should approach this situation.
She just leans back.
He's like, "Oh, please give me your baby."
He's a little enthusiastic. He has two little ones of his own.
Yeah, they don't have names yet.
Sarah's like,
Just until we get out, we have to climb.
The halfling who can't move is like, "I'll carry the baby." Reaches his hand up. After this rest, he actually does manage to. Everyone is now mobile as they're moving about.
We'll start heading up, I guess.
As you all begin to move into this area, shuffling down, you can see that he cut down into dirt. There's like a tiny little ladder that has just been broken and just launched off to the side, and this like little pathway up of stone steps that is virtually vertical, but Paka has basically carved away at it and dug little indents for people to climb. It takes a little bit of doing, but it's not something that you guys can fail. So as you are climbing up, eventually you hit this just solid wood. It is a 1-by-1 kind of scenario, and you guys are somewhat cramped and uncomfortable, but boom, boom seems to be hollow above you.
Was I able to grab the rabbit or some more frogs before we left?
With your dexterity check, I would say you were not able to grab the rabbit or the frogs. Previously, with the 7 that you had rolled, that was your best attempt for the duration.
You said that I got to do 2, and the second one was much better, but that's okay.
Oh, what was the second one? I thought the bad ones were carried all the way through.
Because there was one bad one, and then there was one good one, but there was a lot. I got a 4 and then a 16 on my last one.
With the 16, you do manage to grab the Almirage.
What?
Which is what you determined it to be, in case I forgot to say that before.
Could Jojo have made her way to the top of the tunnel and punched with her? She's newly attuned to these gauntlets, and she just buffer and punch through the floor.
Go ahead and just roll damage here. Make an unarmed strike, just 1+ strength.
Oh, just 1+ strength. My strength is now plus the modifier, right?
So you have 1+4 for your brand new 19.
5 damage.
You lean back and just, you expect like to buckle the wood, but you just smash through, and you hear, "Oh, what the fuck," on the inside of the house as you just pull your hand back. You see this head peek out, looking down towards you, and he's like, "What are you doing on my floor?" Look at it. You don't recognize this person. You see an older human male with like very long, kind of scraggly black gray hair.
We're coming out. Watch your feet. And she goes for another punch.
I'm coming out.
I got fucking strangers in my house, and now you just burst through it. I'm getting the spear. It just begins to move away, like hobbling, holding onto a cane.
Vincent will come out behind Jojo. "Please, sir, it's not necessary."
As the two of you make your way out, Vincent, you see the woman who you had previously seen on the road. The neighbor who's just like looking back towards you and it's just like,
"Lebby.
This is a little bit forward. Lebby's my husband. That was my grandfather. Oh. So what are y'all doing in my house?"
We wound up in a situation. We figured out some stuff and we wound up underground.
Grandpa, calm down now. I do need details, see, because you just broke through my damn floor. I need those details, in fact.
Well, we'll talk about them later, hon. We have people here that we need to rescue. Come
What?
up, guys.
People just begin to flood into this woman's den. Just like, they'll just begin to lean back. You see this like fine house, a long
Vincent
wood
will
cabin.
walk over to them and she'll just lean into her and be like, "It's a lot. This gig, it was a little bit more than we expected. But no, you aided us in, the rescue of all these folks, so thank you."
Is that supposed to mean rescue? What? Looks down and sees Lysira McGurmick enter and is like, "Lysira, what?" Walks over and grabs her by the arm and she's like, "Please, just help these people. Help them." All right, come on. Let's get you inside. Obi, or Heb, which one of you? Obi, come on. Grabs Heb and begins to pull him. And, y'all were acting real weird recently, but now, and then they just begin to descend into this large kind of hearth-lit den area. As people just begin to move in, the halfling's like, "This is a lovely home. I absolutely am. I adore this decor." That rhymed. It looks back towards the artist, who's like, "You're right, it did." He begins to write that down. Dragonborn enters and is like, "I humbly request entrance," as his head pops underneath the hole. And then the old man's like, "I got my spear now, so you try anything, and I'm gonna poke you." And he's like, "I understand completely."
Vincent's gonna look over to the wife that he encountered before. "Do you have anyone who could quickly run over to the Sedum farm, see if he's there, and let him know his wife and children are over here? They could use him."
Now see, that's the funniest thing, right here. Ceylon, she calls up, and from the second floor you see this just like ripped 6'4" individual, like red hair, thick beard, hair pulled back, like fine chiseled jawline, enters in. He's like, "No, you called me." It's like, "Yes." Lysira's just like, "Seelan," rushes forward and gives him a hug. And he's like, "You all, someone gonna tell me what the fuck is going on here."
And even his voice changed. Holy.
You used to be a really awful old man.
No, I did not. I can assure you that I'm gonna be a fine old man. I'm gonna be respectable.
Yeah. Okay.
Regardless, Vincent will walk over and fill them in on some of the details. I don't really want to like have to role play through all that.
For sure. As they're sitting back and listening into this story, they're just like stroking his beard. Seelan sits down and holds onto Lysira, who falls asleep. He's like, "That's a hell of a story. Only one thing. I've been trapped here in this house for quite some time. I've been spending my days thinking that I was Lubby, my next door neighbor. I don't know what to make of all this."
Oh, then who's the Seelan that is with Obi right now?
He's either another contraption of this whole thing, or maybe he's the neighbor's husband.
Fuck. And Jojo gets up.
Killian also gets up and like ready to rush towards the farm.
This mission never ends.
As you make your way to the door and you scream, "This mission never ends!" You open the door and you see the previous Seelan, who's just like, whoa, hey now, let's calm down there. I don't need no green folk yelling at me beyond
I
nothing.
Eldritch Blast Seelan.
You actually?
He goes,
Yes!
All right, make an attack roll.
is there any way we can try and stop her?
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, Vincent's not going to try and stop her, but I'm just curious.
Can Jojo try and throw herself in front of him?
Yes, so go ahead and just make
just close the door.
Everyone make a dexterity contest against Matilda.
This is time to get a natural 20, Matilda.
Okay, am I rolling dex?
You are, yes.
Ability check or saving
Dexterity ability check, yeah. We're just contesting
dang.
to see which one of you manages to act first.
I was really hoping it was a save. So I'd have
It's a save.
Gotta beat a 15.
advantage.
It's not a save, it's an ability check.
I know, but if I had danger sense, if it would be a
Come on,
save.
Matilda.
Yay!
Ow! I'm so bad at dex.
Jojo jumps in the way, the door closes from behind, and you fire off an Eldritch Blast, which just kind of hits the side of the wall, just disperses.
Feathers.
And then Seelan's like, "Now you need to learn to calm down, young lady." He just cocks one eye and stares at you. The doorway once again slowly opens as the individual peeks his head out and is just like, "Listen, I'm real sorry about anything I did to y'all. Please don't hit me with crackling shit."
Look like the old man?
I'm still identical.
Who are you?
I ain't Lubby, no. I don't know where Lubby is, actually.
I points towards the other grandfather and he's like, "There's my husband over there. I don't want no trouble." It begins to back away. Personality changed 180 degrees and now he's incredibly nervous.
Oh, want nothing.
As the grandfather begins to run forward, he's like, "Now you get on in this house. I got my spear on him."
Two old grandpas are so
Aw, that's
so
cute.
I'm so sad I tried to hurt them.
Obi is behind, yes. And he's like kind of just looking on and he was just like,
About halfway through the forest, I was just like, huh?
Obi, your family's in that direction.
He just runs over to the table and scrambles over top of it as all three of them go in for a big hug and a single manly tear moves down the cheek of Seelan McGurmick.
Seelan, I'm not exactly sure if you were the one who actually put the call to aid for us to the guild, but
the
we
old
did
man's
just
like,
rescue your family.
That was me, actually. I was just worried about
water mobbits. And everyone in the area is just like slowly just begins to anyway.
I'll make sure to write in a big old thank you letter. Everything what happened here, and you saved a lot of people.
I don't know what's been going on here, and points towards like the just full room as the artist is just like, "Let me sing you a tale."
Oh,
What had
please
occurred?
don't.
We
I'll
need
wait.
to fast
I'll
track this.
wait.
I'm tired. It's been a long day. Could we get our pay?
Do we
Parker,
get
can
the
you run back to
unlimited soap?
Oh,
Sorry, go ahead.
Paka, could you run back to the farm and grab the rest of our stuff?
Yeah. And Paka just turns and rushes out, and he's like, "There's a cute little monster guy."
Vincent will take out the guild notice and place it on the tail. We do need this filled out, though.
Ain't enough paper. Sorry.
I didn't hear what you said.
I keep interrupting. I'm just trying to narratively flow through. But he just said, yeah, ain't enough paper. Ain't enough paper to write down everything what you people did for us.
No, he doesn't take out that. He's taking... Basically, sorry, out of character. I'll just try to fast track. We're supposed to pick up a reward here. We do not go back to the guild.
Totally fine. Well, we can fast track a little bit, I guess. As the family brings you from where you were previously back to the Sealand farm, or the McGurmick farm, you say your farewells to the people who are currently with you, and they begin recuperation, making your way back towards the farm. You are, like, Sealand McGurmick is reading it, and just kind of gives a nod, closes the thing, puts it in his lapel, and begins to move.
Could I just say, I wanted to talk to Harry or Cobbs, like, very briefly before we split up with them?
We'll just do a flashback for that. So
Okay.
I'll finish what we're doing here, and then we can go back. Sweet. So I'm just trying to find where all of this is now.
Oh, as Paka's starting to run away, Vincent will message him privately and is like, make sure you grab the gold that's in the shed. All of it.
Paka just nods. Sealand makes his way back. With Paka's running speed and just the sheer amount of things he can grab at any given time, when Sealand returns, it is already empty. So that's 480 gold pieces there. And Sealand, like, moves around. You see Paka, like, the doorway to the soap thing is open, and he enters in and begins to check the inventory. Sees the little side doorway open, completely emptied, does not even draw attention towards it. He just looks in and is like, all right then. Makes his way over and begins to check his inventory. Back at the farm, you are handed he actually says, all right, now I need your address. Any place you want me to send this.
I'll give him the black sheep card. You can ship it here.
He nods. He says, well, you done for me. We ain't gonna forget it. You got a friend in me if you ever need anything. Now, beyond that, he places down 20 platinum pieces and slides it towards you. 20 platinum pieces, slides it towards Jojo, and continues to do this for the four of you. He says, we got a little bit of money in reserve here. Well, thank you. It says here on this piece of paper 14, but I wish I could do more. So he hands you each 20 platinum pieces, and he writes out a massive document detailing everything that has transpired here and everything that you guys have done. And he closes it and he says, now, I'm gonna write a letter to the guild. And with this, the Akadi family will be incredibly grateful for everything you've done. I'll make sure that they're fully aware of what's happened here and what you've done for us. And from a mechanical standpoint, you have earned double the reward previously from what was given to you, in that you would gain 2 notes of favor for the Akadi family, but you've gained 4.
Ooh.
So you've gained 4 relationship with the Akadi family, which brings you from virtually nobodies to they're paying attention to.
Cool.
As you are sitting with Sealand McGurmick, he just pops open a pipe and lights a small I was like small torch. It's like, how am I flipping this off? Just ignites his pipe and begins to puff on it for a moment. Leans back and he takes a rifle from the side and just places it down on the table and says, "This was my grandfather's, but I ain't got no need for it. This world, this gun, it ain't gonna protect you. So maybe I might find some more use in the hands of someone who can use it." He slides it across the table. I don't know if this means anything for you.
Which is, I look towards the rest of the group because Vincent doesn't really want a gun.
Killian kind of like takes it and kind of inspects it. Is she able to do any kind of like appraisal on it?
Looking at it, it has been
finely taken care of for years meticulously. It's a relatively old hunting rifle, but it sits with some ornate ivory. It sits in the handle and a fine metal barrel that goes off into the distance. Popping it open, it seems like it's an ordinary rifle, but has a lot of history with, you're assuming, this family. Aside from that, nothing necessary to roll over.
Killian says, I'll take it if you want. Are you sure you don't want to keep it?
No, I want you to have it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
My grandfather always said to make sure that good things go around. Anything I can do for you now or into the future, you just let me know. You got a friend in me.
You're a retired adventurer, retired diver, right?
Yeah, I was able to retire pretty early.
How far did you get?
Looks at you,
Says, made my way just past the 10th floor. Never could get past the Cavalier.
Cavalier.
Almost took me out many a time. Escaping ain't no easy feat.
What's the Cavalier?
Massive knight, held on a horse that reeks of brimstone and fire. Something sad about him. I can understand.
Killian, this actually rings a bell to you in that the Bloodstone village, upon which you were born and lived for countless centuries. Looking onwards towards the distance past the adamantite gates that kept you from ascending further to the north, lied a hill of crimson grass, and upon it the Cavalier, a massive mounted knight who just overlooked the area and never moved an inch. As the divers came to the area, so too did the Cavalier move, and many divers met their end to his lance. As Seelan also kind of gives this tale to all of you, I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw for me.
All of us?
Just Killian.
Oh.
At 11, you begin to mildly hyperventilate at the recollection of these memories, but you stifle that, and you hold yourself strong. And Lysira comes up next to you holding the baby and places her hand on your shoulder. She kind of sees this struggle that you're going through at the moment and just offers some solace.
Kind of scooch closer to her.
I'll probably need some defenses against Faye because this whole scenario happened because you were susceptible. So I'm going to talk to my pom-pom and see if he can offer you some of their services to help make this place more Faye, less Faye people coming here and messing up with your stuff.
Can I insight check that?
I'm right happy about that. I'd be happy to take that. Thank you.
And yes, you absolutely may.
Just not that I don't think Matilda isn't saying, but her and her family seem a little odd. Like they'd probably want them to make a deal or do something nefarious for that offer.
Tilda has fairly odd parents.
12. Matilda, you can go ahead and roll persuasion or deception. I'm not sure if this is an instance where you're attempting to obscure information or if you're just offering services.
Okay, should I just do a blind roll then?
I don't know if that
absolutely.
hides, I don't know if that hides what you're rolling.
If you do a blind roll, I'll be able to see it.
But it'll just say so and so did a blind roll at the top.
Oh, okay.
It won't tell you what you did.
Okay.
Made sure to check when we were doing our stealth ones.
There doesn't
Weird.
seem to be
One
Vincent.
of them was blind, one of them wasn't.
Oh, weird. Okay.
The blind one is the one that I'm currently going to go by. You also rolled damage, it looks like?
Yeah, I
Or
don't.
something?
No, it was because I rolled a blind one. I don't know. I'm confused. I don't understand how this works.
With the blind roll previously, Vincent, it doesn't seem like she's going to, like, she seems to be just offering services in this instance. It seems to be pretty innocent. And that that is to say that you are aware she rolled perception and not deception.
Okay.
Persuasion, not deception. Yeah.
That's fine. He wasn't going to stop her either way. He was just curious.
Jojo's gonna lean down to Obi. Are you still friends with Gloria?
He leans in and says, "Of course."
Okay. You should know she was close with the one who did this, and she asked us to save you over saving her mom. So you should take good care of her.
I will. We will.
Do you think she's safe here? I was going to offer her to come stay with us.
It seems like she wants to be in the pond here.
You see, Obi kind of thinks on that and says, "She should be with you guys. You were able to protect her and we weren't. But I can. Where do you live? I can visit." And Heb's like, "Out of the question. She will remain where she is." You see, he's just like, I'm not
well, if you
losing
change
my
your
quarter."
mind on that, did we tell him where to? Not yet, right?
I give them my address.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Where I live.
He takes that, and I imagine you write a few addresses and names and kind of all begin to exchange some information, but you do not reveal the location of your old town manor. As
Vincent would like to do one thing, if it's okay. It'll be super quick.
Okay. Yeah, and after the scene, we'll do the flashback for JoJo as well.
Thanks.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, at the end of all of this, after everyone's wrapping up and leaving, Vincent's gonna go over to. I guess he never got her name. It was just Lebby Dibbit was the husband. He'll walk up to her, hopefully when she's by herself, and just be like, "I apologize for all of this happening. I never got your name before."
She like looks at you with a smile and kind of just like leans over the side of her veranda as you approach their house. "My name's Vanessa. Mighty fine to meet you." She's just kind of like looking at you. Some kind of hero now too, huh?
Oh, well, you do what you can when you have the opportunity, I guess.
She like looks at you and says, "You're my hero, at least. What can I do? What can I do to thank you?"
Well, I heard your husband's not around anymore. I'm not sure what happened to him, but if you wanted to come see me, and he'll pass her one of his business cards. This
You
is
see,
where you'll find me.
she is fiddling with a ring on her finger as she takes the card. Like she takes it with her left hand, and you can see the ring on her finger as she slowly pulls it away and kind of just tucks it into her bra.
I'm
I
not sure
will.
if you heard, but he passed her one of his business cards and told her if she needs to find him.
She tucked it into her bra.
Oh, I thought you
And
said
says-
she tucked
and
her
said, "I
ring.
will." Oh, no, yeah. She
Okay.
takes the business card, tucks it into her bra, and says, "I
Okay.
will."
Okay. Well,
Just
you
to
know where
thank you, of
find me.
course. Yeah, yes, I do.
Oh, of course. I love when all my clients and patrons pay me a visit. We could even go for a nice brunch.
Just kind of smiles and turns and is just like, "The breath, you might need to watch the farm for a while." Just begins to make her way back into the home.
Yeah, Vincent will leave with the rest of his friends after
Bow,
this.
bow, bow, bow.
Heading back in.
Hey, this is business, guys. That's pure.
Yeah.
Business and pleasure.
Yeah.
Pleasure is your business. As you,
Sex.
we don't actually even need to really flash back. The individuals who were at the debit farm move their way through and head back towards you guys in order to offer a thanks. And you and all of these people that you have saved, which is everybody, by the way, excellent work. Save for the strange nature of the missing Lubby Debit, which remains yet a mystery. As they find their way to you outside the farm, and a carriage begins to make its way down the road called by Seelan McGurmick in order to offer you a safe passage home.
I need 2 of them.
A second one would appear then on his dime. Absolutely, you guys have free travel for the day. And as he just kind of gives you a big nod, you come face to face with those adventurers from before.
Yeah, Jojo pulls Harrier Cobb, not necessarily away from you guys, but from the other people that are not part of our family. It's just like, hey, so if you really want to thank us for saving you, you can not mention any of this to Dionysus.
Why? Don't you want, to be... Actually, tell you what. Not gonna ask any questions.
Thanks.
Vincent will lean into you, Jojo, and be like, little infant me might help a little bit, though, sometimes.
I don't know. I think it's too soon for that one.
I tell you what, though. If there ever is a moment in which you would like to be thanked, and not some vigilante in the shadows, some fey dungeon, I'll treat you to a barrel. My finest.
Great. Thanks.
Vincent thinks that. Here, actually, I don't know if you've heard of the Black Sheep, but we have quite a fine bar there. They might be interested in your supplies, depending if you work out a deal with them. Pass over one of his cards.
Also, before I was like, you have like 3 business cards, right? No, you have like hundreds.
Yeah.
Just to clarify that out loud. He takes the business card and looks at it, flips it around. I'll drop by. Also pops it into his lapel. I'll drop by.
There's
when I have a moment. It's not important.
not as much of a drinker of alcohol, but if you want some tea, you can stop by the Lavender Cafe. I'm not there as often as I used to be, but you can find out where I am there.
Gives a nod and kind of takes a step back and offers a hand that says, "Thank you. Thank you, adventurers. I'll never be able to repay this debt in full, but I will remember this. You have a friend."
Remember that you owe us. As I stare at him.
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
The rest, basically, people are kind of waiting in line. You see that the Dragonborn has basically taken a position behind him and is just standing stoically, awaiting his turn. As Cobbs looks back, gives a nod, and is like, "Anyway, I'll be," and then makes his way into the carriage. The Dragonborn approaches all of you and says, "It is well met. My name is Delgano." What? I'm afraid I've no time. But maybe one day. He hands you a card as well and says, I've traveled to join the Shining Star Cartographers Guild. If you need anything from me, that is a good location to find me.
Cartographer is writing, right?
That is maps.
Oh, map maybe. I'm thinking of
the creation of maps.
The other one.
Calligrapher is the fancy letters.
What district is that in? The Shining Star Cartography Guild.
The Shining Star. I can bring you guys back to Amaranth for the foreseeable future.
I also give the same offer to Spooky Lady. That looks the Drow Lady. You should join our family.
Well,
you don't want me.
I feel like that's a group decision, Matilda, but I guess the offer's out there.
I feel like that's a dad decision.
Yeah.
The Shining Star sits in Cobbleden next to Shondacool's family home of the Windwalker estate. I will pull you guys in and give you a nice little view of it. Quite the fight. It's basically located on the wall between the Dennery and Cobbleden.
Yeah, Dad likes strays, so.
Vincent will ask the Drow Lady, there's something we noticed coming into the city. Once you get back in there, could you do us a favor and look into it a little bit?
Oh, fuck. I owe you my life. I don't owe you my time, kid.
Well, I'm going to ask you anyway. There was a procession of elves escorting someone. It's kind of odd. While we were coming out of the Emerald Gates yesterday.
She looks at you very seriously. And as you're about to continue talking, she says, shh, places a finger up to your lips, and then just kind of draws it down, and then flicks off your chin, and is just like, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to drop that.
Why?
You do not want to get involved in this. Just...
Oh, you know what this is?
Forget about it.
Darling, they were marching through the cities. I'm not just going to forget about it.
It's not that uncommon. Elves go to the dungeon once every few years, too.
They weren't going to the dungeon. They were escorting someone.
It would be wise to leave this alone, my sweet. You can see now she's basically just like toying with
He's
you.
gonna smirk at her and just be like, "Oh, you're gonna have to work so much harder if you're gonna call me that."
Really? Fuck. Not worth it. She takes a step back. But if you want to romp or something.
He hands her his card.
So
the
many
halfling
business
behind
cards.
is like, can I have one of those cards too? I notice everyone's getting a card and I feel a little bit left
He hands him one too. Again, this isn't Vincent's personal card. This is the card to the black sheep.
She looks at all of you and says, she gives a smirk and says, it would be fun to join your family, but you helped me. I don't want to subject you to that, so maybe another time.
You change your mind, you know where to find Vincent.
Looks at the card. Just kind of like rolls it up and places it in her hair and uses it to tie it up a little bit. The rest of the people continue saying hello and goodbye as the halfling walks forward. Says, my turn. All right, I'm Angelo Buttonsworth. Nice to meet you. Shakes your hands. It's all for me, though. If you need me, I'll be in Yondalla's district. Turns and just walks away. The human who had previously said nothing says nothing. He just gives you guys a bow and makes his way towards the carriage.
I like this guy the most.
I have a question, DM. Did any of those people look like any of the descriptions of people that were on the board that had bounties on their head that I looked at a few
Roll
days
history.
ago? Okay.
Would her keen mind give her advantage?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. It's actually with keen mind. You just remember that.
Yeah.
With your, as you were looking over it, you basically just like scanned each and every one of them, and for the next half year, you'll pretty much be able to spot them on sight. Matilda walks up patiently, and is like, none of them are. However, you did see a missive for the Drow woman. Not a
Bounty.
not a bounty, but literally just a, if you see this woman, send her my way kind of thing. And the name on the missive was Atlas. Just Atlas. Atlas.
Liz is looking for you. There was a note for you on the board in the guild house.
Thank you for letting me know that. By the way, you said it was the 9th, right?
And I rattle off the exact time that it is right now.
All right. Shit. I haven't been down there that long, but my memory seems to be affected. I need a drink. Thank you. She makes her way over to the carriage and gets in. Thank you all. Appreciate this.
Let's go, guys. I've got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Also, I probably will need a break after this. I'm not privy to want to run out right away. We got a little bit of funds, and I've got some stuff I need to look into.
Fuck, this is like 3 missions in one.
Is this what
I thought
it's always going to feel like?
I don't know.
Probably not, darling. I think we got lucky.
If lucky is dropping into lava and surviving it, I feel like that's pretty lucky, actually.
Yeah.
How are you doing, by the way?
And Vincent will go over, sit next to her.
I need a
in
new
the
pair of boots. I'll be fine.
Yeah, your pants are sort of capris now, though. That's sort of a good look.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's fine.
You could probably walk on hot coals now. You got some pretty severe burns to the soles of your feet.
I think I'll pass for a while.
Okay.
From what I know, and based on what you told us before, Matilda, it should be fine in the morning, hon. Once you get a rest in.
As you all jump into the carriage and it begins to take its way down the road, you note that Selene has actually went into your carriage. And as you sit down, she's like, I already fucking said goodbye. And just looks out the window as you take the same carriage as her back into the city.
And he'll go over and sit down next to her after he's spoken with Killy and the rest of the group and kind of put his arm over her shoulder and is like, well, I do usually work nights.
She looks at you and says, consent, motherfucker. And then grabs your hand and pulls it closer. And kind of uses you as a pillow.
He didn't say he put his arm over her shoulder, just that he put it up.
Are you taking
I see.
the carriage all by yourself, or was I assume that was for our family?
If Killian is like the next to get in, she'll just be like, I'll take the other one, and just like get in the cart with the other group of people.
Why are you going in the cart with all those people? And I like walk in and I sit in the cart that they're in. Am I not supposed to be in here? Why did you leave, Killian?
Are you canonically in the other cart with everyone else?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys are all playing card games. It's very fun. The halfling is doing his best, and the artist is cheating every round, very visibly. And the dragonborn is just like, I don't understand this game. He yells out loud. And the two carriages take your guys' way back into the city. About a few minutes in, actually, as soon as she like takes your arm and throws it over her shoulder from where it was before, she stares up towards you and just says, "Oh, you gonna make a move or like?"
Okay, so Vincent was offering to take her back to the Black Sheep, not to do it right now. So the Killian thing kind of threw me off. He'll lean in, he'll sign in the air, and you hear magic go off, and he'll message her so Matilda doesn't hear because she's sitting across. I'm not one for public performance. Do you mind if you wait till we get back to the Black Sheep, hon? I promise it'll be worth it.
She leans in and just says, I am one for public performance. This is the most clothes I've worn in years. And then she just kind of like leans back and just kind of looks out the window as the rest of the people in the carriage just see her unapologetically like just staring at you. And then back out the window. She also looks over towards Matilda and Jojo and just like, do they also work at?
No.
All right.
God, no. That one would probably just dissect what we're doing for like medical purposes.
Surgical. And she looks at Jojo and is like, I also like muscles. And then just leans back.
They're like, I can I tell that they're just casting?
Yeah, are they talking about fucking us? Like, can I roll insight? Like,
you can both roll insight, sure.
Okay,
I believe lips moving, but you can't.
I want to do disadvantage because
I was hoping to do Arcana to see if I recognize the message spell. Is that a thing I can do?
You can if it is on your class's spell list.
I thought.
Or if you are proficient in Arcana.
Yeah.
You absolutely may.
Did I understand?
Oh hell yeah!
I did not understand.
With a 7 insight, you are completely oblivious, and with your 24 Arcana, Jojo, you recognize the spell.
What, you keeping secrets over there? What the fuck? Some message spell?
Kind of leans back over. We're having a private conversation, hon. Am I not?
Yeah, I can see that. No, it's fine. I don't give a shit. She opens up her book, the How to Wake Up Early and Be Successful book. She and starts reading it again.
She, the drow woman stares at you and kind of like gives a smirk, and she's like, "What the fuck? Where the fuck? When the fuck?" And then just leans and looks back out the window, as the carriage takes you all away into rest. We now enter a period of downtime, I believe. Or was there anything you guys wanted to do before you began your downtime?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if we want to roll spotlight, but I need you to go see how to do spell research. And there was one other thing I just want to make sure like Alexi gives me his clothes. Like basically the next day is a little bit of role play, and I have my appointment in the afternoon the next day before the downtime.
Okay, so we can go ahead and roll spotlight.
Just to confirm, the 480 gold, is that split all among us, or is there a part of it that's going to the family fund?
That is up to you in general, but for the most part, you split stuff among family members. Paka, right now, you can choose to give Paka money, because he, as a mule, basically you all agreed to 5% cut, but Paka is very clearly not very good money. He doesn't really know anything that's going on, and for the most part, you could take advantage of that poor little Lizzie man.
No.
Also,
what's
right, adding a
5%
mule
of 480?
5% of 480 is 24.
So he gets 24 gold.
Also, I think Vincent should take a higher cut of this one because we used some of your stuff that you need to replace. So we need to give you money to do that. because your rope burnt, you use some of your rations. Like there's some stuff that you need to.
What was
to-
Killian's rations? I use the walloping arrows, which are somewhat expensive. And,
Yeah, so
the
like
pistols.
so the stuff that you need to redo, just deduct from I think I'm okay with you deducting some of that from Matilda's share.
So
Okay,
for
it'll-
sorry. So Matilda, how much were you deducting from your share?
I think
Well, I
it'd only
wanted-
be like 5 gold for that.
Yeah,
stuff.
that's fine.
Okay. And that is going specifically to Vincent, right?
Yes.
Okay. So Matilda, you gain 85 gold, 4 silver. Vincent, you gain 95 gold and 4 silver. Killian, you gain 90 gold, 4 silver, and same with Jojo, 90 gold and 4 silver. The family gains 91 gold and 2 silver.
Paka game's like 21, I think.
Paka is 24.
Who's keeping track of family gold and Paka's gold?
I am keeping track of family gold.
Thank you.
Paka, I will throw in his caricature sheet.
Hmm.
So 91.
Oh no, I got jalapeno fingers.
Don't touch your eyes.
Yeah, I've been trying not to.
Let me know when everyone's done adding those to their character sheet.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, I think I got that all.
Beauty. And with the spotlight, go ahead and check these. Jojo, with a natural 20, you are up first in spotlight.
I guess it'd be the morning. Jojo spends the morning at the family home. She fills in Lavos and then passes out. And in the morning, she's gonna go to very hesitantly. She's gonna go to the Lavender Cafe and check in on her family there. And then after that, she's planning on going to go visit her mom for their appointment.
So for the for downtime, if you are sleeping in the morning, we can basically do like you guys did not sleep the night because the night was taken up by the quest itself. In the morning, if you want to do a long rest, that takes up the morning slot, so that's gone.
Mhm.
And then you would have afternoon and evening, but we'll do a circle. So it'll be like morning. Jojo,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Okay. Afternoon.
I just wanted to fill you in on what my
Yep.
full 3 things would be, I guess. Or
Awesome,
I guess 2 things. I don't need a RP filling in Lavos
No, for sure. You can just say you did, and we hand wave that to Brilliance.
and give him the gold.
All of you as well for the previous day. You guys have to pay for your lifestyle.
Mhm.
Jojo, that's 1 gold, 2 silver, 5 copper. Killian, that is 1 gold and 1 silver. Actually, no, I'm sorry. Add that back. Jojo, yours is only 2 silver, 5 copper. Killian, yours is only 1 silver and 5 copper. Matilda, you pay 1 gold. And Vincent, you pay 2 gold. Those are your guys' daily expenses for your lifestyles. And then we circle around. So Jojo, your morning is spent long resting and filling in Lavos.
Mhm.
Brilliant. And then we circle through. So Matilda, you are next. What does your morning consist of?
I probably, knowing Matilda, she'd probably go to work. She's like, whatever.
Okay,
Does not
go ahead.
stop.
Make a Constitution saving throw for me to resist exhaustion.
Okay. Oh, con save. You can do it, Matilda.
This
Also,
one
I
is
think
DC
your
10.
rolls are stuck on private right now. Just FYI.
Oh, okay. Public. Con. Saving throw. Normal.
You have 1 level of exhaustion.
Woo!
Exhausted, you move into your day of work, and you work your shift for the day. Did you want to attempt to roll a d20 to see how much, whether you got a very good day or a very bad day?
Yeah, I do.
Alrighty, so you are working at your alchemy job, correct?
Yeah.
In the diver shop.
Ooh,
Oh, yeah.
Just a straight
bad
D20?
day.
the exhaustion.
No!
Bad
That-
day.
That is a critical failure. With your pure level of exhaustion, you gain no money from working this day.
Oh well.
You basically destroy enough that your boss is just like, go home, go rest. Just go rest. It's fine. It's fine. I'll handle this. And he
You
begins to
usually
clean up the back.
frustrate me, but I appreciate your understanding. I am sorry for that.
Hey, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you. I got this. Leave it to me. You can see he like watches you go, and it's just like, her family's been good for her. And then you leave the place.
Aw. Who's your boss? I need to know his name. He's a nameless NPC. He's so good.
Anyway, moving down. So you spend the morning working, and you find that brilliant.
Yeah.
Killian, you're up. Do you long rest in this morning?
Yeah, she's gonna have to. The too much has happened for her to try to push through the morning. So she's just gonna go back home and collapse into bed.
Patience finds you, and as you collapse, kind of just sits down next to you and looks at the wounds and just kind of hums in silence as you take your long rest. She sings a little lullaby for you. Sits with you before disappearing into the streets once more. Oh, good time for the music to end. And then moving forward from that, Vincent, you're up. In the early morning, you usually long rest at night. Or you usually long rest in the morning. Do you long rest?
Yes. I don't have to be asleep for the whole thing. I can have 2 hours of just doing things. Alexi's supposed to show up to drop off my clothing that he picked up during his morning jog.
So long as whatever RP this is takes place within the place where you are long resting, that's fine. So is this at the Black Sheep?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like we don't have to roleplay it, but the only thing I want to put in is basically Alexi comes up to my door and opens it, and I thank him for the dry cleaning and things like that. But he seems what the drow girl's name is, Selena?
Selene.
Selene, yeah. She's just chilling in my bed. That would be about it.
I think the RP that begins there, she's just like, "How dare you?" and slaps you across the face, just like lightly, like, "I didn't say anything about this." And she like takes clothing off and just makes her way into the room in the Black Sheep, passing by Rosa, and it's just like, "Her too?" Rosa's like, "I'm more than you can afford." She's like, "You don't know me. I might have money." And just walks past. And
speaking of which, and he hands her his cost.
Are you fucking fine? She takes the page and just places it down, and is just like, "I don't have money up my ass, so we'll figure this out afterwards." Okay. But yeah, as we cycle through the next one, Jojo, it is the afternoon of the same day when you awaken.
Jojo awakens at Old Town and does her jog to the Lavender Cafe.
That dedication, man. So you run in a straight line.
I run
over mountain and under hill. Walls can't stop me. I'm a barbarian.
I'm a 19 strength now, just going through walls.
I'm Juggernaut, bitch. Yeah. It's an early 2000s movie reference for you.
Yeah, she very tentatively goes into the cafe, just really still thrown off by that vision yesterday. And goes to the front door.
Hey, Jojo. The doorway opens. Hey, are you all right? You weren't here in the morning.
No, I was out doing a mission.
Oh.
Morning? You mean did I have a shift today?
Oh no, sometimes you help out, and you weren't here today, so I was getting worried.
Yeah,
but I know you're a big girl now, and I recognize that. I've decided that I should allow myself a little bit more of a hands-off method of parenting. Yuka's still being smothered aggressively.
Yeah, well, he's the youngest. I mean, he's 15, but that's like what, a 7 in Furbolg?
Well, he's still somewhat adolescent, but he's learning his ways.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm here now if you need help. I've got some stuff to put towards my debt.
Oh.
You got the fund. I'll go throw that up there.
What debt is that?
The ring debt, the school fire debt.
There are no debts among family. You do not need to worry about paying that.
Our family's debt to them, even though they're huge fucking assholes and didn't have any proof that I did it and I didn't do it, so.
Oh, I will speak with them again. 43rd time is the charm, as they say.
Oh. Yeah, well, if we're not paying it, then that's cool. I just
No, right now we need to offer until I have this settled away and I'm confident in my abilities.
and then we'll get all the back pay. And
Exactly.
not that it matters, but
No, it's
they
this
shouldn't
whole
have it.
concept is strange.
I know, I hate it. I hate it so much, but
I just don't
anyways.
feel like they need it. And he stares across the street at the massive building.
no, they definitely don't. And she just flips off the building.
Jojo, lower your finger.
She
kinda
lowers
like-
it, but it's still flipped off. She like lowers her hand, but not her finger.
He just heads on inside. He says, "It's actually quite a slow day if you want to take it off. I don't mind that."
I was supposed to meet up with Mom, so maybe I'll do that instead then, I guess. But
Certainly.
can I? So we had a mission yesterday, and we were fighting this like fey creature, and I saw like there was like this vision that I saw where I had hurt you and Elmira and Yuka, and I don't know, man, it's really getting to me. Hey, do you have some time to chat?
Of course. Come on inside. He turns the sign to closed, and you enter in, and there's a few
Turns it the
people in the
fuck off.
cafe. It's like, are you closed? He's like, you may stay. You are already within the fold. The halfling who is in the shop is like, I love this place. Back and continues sipping on his tea.
Yeah, so Jojo talks it out with Ron. It's a good Ron time.
Very emotional. Lots of hugs.
Yeah.
Lots of just like, it's all right, Jojo. I
And
know
I
you
know-
would never hurt us this way.
Thanks. I'm just not so sure. I hurt Matilda, and I was like laughing and crying and angry in like the last few hours. I don't know. It sucked. I hate Faye. They suck so much. And at the end of this nice chat, she gives him 20 platinum.
You see, he
Here's
looks.
my therapist fee.
Where should I put this?
I don't know. Give it to Mom. She'll know what to do with it.
Don't bury it.
Don't bury it. I just had like a voice in my head to tell me not to bury it.
Mind Matilda. As he goes around back to the other side of the counter, like glass tables with all of the pastries and food outlined. And he opens up a small box, and you just hear him throw this money into a box filled with money and closes it and places it back behind the counter. It's like covered in dust, except for this one spot, because he's constantly like, money, okay. Throws it in this box of cash, just places it in the back. And as the camera pulls back and away, Ron also says, I've also spoken with my family. It didn't go well, but they're aware that you're coming. And
No, we're coming. Oh, we're gonna
no
go
one
there.
would turn away.
Okay. Why?
Oh, was
why
that
did-
not the goal?
We put the call to arms. I was just wondering.
Oh,
I mean,
I told them you were coming. Oh,
yeah, I'll go.
I
Yeah, I'll
can-
go.
Oh, very well. Well, then there's no problem at all. And Ron just
Okay,
smiles. Excellent. I did it.
Why didn't it go well?
You see, he feels like sick as he's like, I don't, we can talk about it later. He even attempts to obscure information. He's just like, oh.
No, I'm not gonna push you on it. Don't stop. I can
Okay.
see that you're ill. Stop
I'm
it.
sorry. I'm going to go drink from the hose. I love
Okay.
hoses. And he makes his way to the backyard. Camera pulls away. Matilda, we find you. Where are you at current?
I'm
Back
walking. No, I'm walking to Pom Pom's house. I
Alright.
have a very dead frog and a rabbit that's like hogtied in my bag. That's just been sitting in there. And I'm tired, but I have some questions.
You enter into Finn's Finders Keepers and find him currently at work. There's a few people, a few more than unsavory looking individuals who are kind of standing at bay. And you also recognize that woman who had previously given you just like the, is this sexual tension? Is this, are you mad at me? Kind of stare back in the dungeon interface office as she is leaving your home. She takes one look at you again.
At me. I point at her and I say, you made eyes at me at the guild.
She's just examining you right now.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Turns and begins to walk away.
I don't like that lady. Pom Pom, what was she buying?
You enter in and Pom Pom's like crushing something up, and you see one dude in pale leathers sitting off to the side just awaiting it, looks over towards you and then just continues focusing in, and Pom Pom's just, what is that, Matilda? The one who had just left, yes?
Yeah, she made eyes at me twice. I don't know if because she wants to take me on a date or she wants to stab me. I haven't found that out yet.
Well, you should find out and utilize that information to the best of your abilities. It continues like just crushing something in this mortar and pestle. Would you like me to attempt to look into her?
Not right now. We'll talk about that later. That's not why I'm here. We'll wait till this person leaves and then, yeah.
Very well. Leave. Looks back towards the other person who's just like, I paid good money for this. Right, yes, absolutely. And are you going to remain there for the next 12.9 minutes? Yeah, that's not even a long time.
I can wait.
See, he just begins to aggressively and frustratedly continue this concoction. And after the, he takes 15 minutes just to be cheeky. And the other guy's still like, it's really fast. And as he finishes up this, pours a little black-green vial to the man, hands it to him. And then he gives a nod and makes his way out of the shop, leaving you and he alone, or you and Pom Pom alone, rather. And closes the door. Lock, 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 lock. Door is secured. Sits down, looks you right in the eyes and says, what is it?
You need to take a deep breath and promise I'll need to get a tiny bit upset. And I throw the rabbit on the table, the dead frog, and then I show my ear and my finger. You're like, I had a bit of an encounter with some fae yesterday.
What did they... What is it that you gained from this?
They helped us through the dungeon thing. They're dead now, though, which means that it makes it a little more complicated.
He looks down at the creature on the table and sees the frog, and he's like, ordinary frog, as far as I can tell. This rabbit, Almirage?
Well, Mitra said I should eat the Fey lady that we were fighting.
Nope, no need. Do not feed Mitra with anything.
Oh, there's also a shard in my head that Mitra says I should feed her.
He stops and thinks for a brief moment. Fine. It is your decision, of course. What you do with Mitra. I'm at a little bit of an odd right now, but it is what it is.
Hey.
I will only get a little bit upset. I will only get a little bit upset.
I know what the fairy's name is.
Do you?
I do.
What is it?
Tinyel. That was the one that took my finger and my ear. The big one, I don't know who they were. They did have sisters, though, and it didn't like to be insulted. And I called my mother, which, very bad mother.
Oh. So you, like, describe in general this creature to...
Yeah,
to
I actually minor illusion, because I have minor illusion, and I minor illusion what they look like. And I'm like,
Brilliant.
This is who they were. They turned into a bunch of frogs and rabbits.
Disapparated, most likely.
Oh.
Maybe dead, may not. But you have a piece of their body, so they cannot, at the very least, reform with any of their former strength. Good work.
Oh.
Now they may just exist as frogs for the rest of eternity. Excellent job. Holding on to the rabbit that looks terrified, he's like, this one seems to have been captured, I assume. And just holds it for a second.
To eat it?
If Mitra desires it, perhaps. But make sure you gain something of equal value. if you are to offer Mitra anything.
Mm.
And then
Okay.
just looks at it briefly. This was a water hag. You said she had sisters. Is the
Yes.
coven something we should worry about?
Well, they said, I think they're dead? Maybe? I don't know.
Excellent. This was good work.
Well, I didn't kill it. Killian did, our little goblin friend.
Better luck next time then, Matilda. But excellent job with what you've done. And he pulls you into a hug.
Oh, yeah. And I just hang out with Pom Pom for the rest of the afternoon.
Excellent. Pom Pom also offers you. He's like, do you wish to continue some training? The poisonous kit.
Yes, I also... Can you keep... Well, this is a dumb thing to ask you. Can you keep something secret? Without making it worth something? For once, please?
For you, anything.
I have a torch bloom in my house, and I don't know what to do with it. And I think you're the only one that could probably help me with it. You can't eat it!
That's fine.
Okay.
I'm already impeccable. He just he thinks on that and says, show me to it. I can close the shop early today.
Okay.
And you take Pom Pom towards the torch bloom.
Yeah.
And as we cycle back, I gotta find the
I like that
pseudo initiative again.
Jojo and Matilda had basically the same. We just like went and hung out with our parental figures and made them close up shop.
And we cycle through. Killian, it is the afternoon. What do you wish to do on this fine day?
I would like to go to Thringar's.
Traveling through the Dennery over to Thringar's. I can also just move you in a straight line. I don't know why I'm doing that.
Oh, that's fine. I like the roundabout.
Yeah, let me check here.
Smash through the walls.
Here we go.
We do a long rest, I assume.
Yes.
Indeed.
Before the-
You can all gain a long rest. Killian, I have
Fantastic.
lost your token. There you are. Circling around through the Dennery, you find yourself at Thringar's shop. We will take a short break, post this, and then we will continue with the pre-downtime fun. And you find yourself at Thringar's smithy on the rear side of Gon's house. It's always quite muggy in this area from the steam of people kind of constantly working in these machinations. And you can see this like small tin can with wheels is slowly moving forward, and someone's like, "You could do it! You could do it! You could do it!" And then it just collapses, and he's like, "Joe, by the gods!" picking up the tin can and moving off to the side. And there's always something new in this area. It's always very fun. But entering into Thringar's, he turns towards you. "Oh, Killian.
Hello.
Come. What are you doing here?"
Well, partially a social visit, but also partially a business visit. How's the new apprentice doing?
"Oh, it's shite.
Well, that's good. If they start really bad, you can train them up.
Sometimes it's a good idea to walk a road what's been paved already. But you're absolutely right. An empty vessel, always good for filling. Now, that's what I like about you.
I don't know if you heard, but check it out. And she pulls up her sleeve and gives a flex.
No fucking way. Takes off his own and just begins to flex like right on the center of this just massive bulging dwarf bicep. Oh, I always knew it. This means you get a little raise,
Yeah. I haven't had time to really do a lot of work. But what I am doing is turning out way better than it used to.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks,
proud.
Thringar.
This is amazing. I think this is history, but honestly, I don't pay attention to that shit.
I had a few questions though. I have a really big project ahead of me. And for the most part, I'm essentially just going to be working on it myself. But you've spent a lot of time around some tinkers. What's a good power source for an automaton? I want something sturdy. It has to be diver ready.
Now, I wanted to keep this a little bit of a secret, but honestly, I'm too excited to mention anything to not.
that there's been a little bit of defensiveness around the Whitewater Key lately, if you've noticed. That's because Gond and Mistra are working on something together, right? Something big. Now, I may have gotten my hands on a little bit of a job missive for that, right? And one of the pieces of payment was something I'm gonna need to get used to.
And he pulls open a small box, a key, turns it, and just begins to just crank it open. The box pops open with these just series of locks opening. He takes this key that looks like a gear in a toy crank and tosses it in his backpack. Pops open the box, and you see on the inside this core. It's like metal spherical core that he picks up, just slowly emanating this pale blue energy that siphons out off of it. Fine, like a planetarium. Various different long rounded pieces of copper banded steel that are moving in various different fashions, and every now and then just the blue wisps get caught up in the motion and circle around it. This is a Magitech engine. No.
Beautiful. Did you make this?
No, but soon I might be able to. Big secret right here. But if you want,
my lips are seals. Seals. Sorry, I'm excited too. My lips are sealed.
He's begins to think about that for a second, and you can see in his face just this red rosy cheeked smile as he pictures just two seals on the center of your face. And he's just, anyway, right, back direct to it. Actually, begins to write down lips are seals. Closes that into his book of inspirations. Thinks on that for a second.
You and I can study this together if you like.
I'd love to.
Won't say a thing.
No, I'll be silent the whole time.
You look in the doorway and you see this dwarvish woman looking out at you. He turns his attention towards his apprentice.
Hey, don't worry, I'm not here for my job back.
Just closes the door. It's like,
remember, if you ever want your job back, my apprentice is being like trash.
Waits a few seconds, and you hear some footsteps away, and it's like, I'm not very good at being mean.
You
Seems
never
to
really
work
were.
with her, though. No, I won't. No, never was. All right, let's get to business.
Moves back towards and just quenches the forge in one quick motion. Water just plunges into it, and the third shop closes for the day. And as we cycle back for one more, I believe that was everyone save for Vincent. Vincent, you are up.
So after I give a solemn farewell to Selena, for
Selene.
I don't know. I will always just
Yeah.
You can call me Celine. You can call me Sel if you want. Sel works.
I'll use Sal. I think that fits.
Just nods, and she kind of well, I'm not one to stay when things get awkward, so gives you a wink and just begins to make her way out the door. I'll make sure to pay for this.
You bet.
Waves the missive.
Then Vincent is going to, he's rested, dressed, prepared. He's ready to go out on the town. He has an appointment today at the Ivory Tower in the Deanery to go visit. I have her name written down as Carmina, but I feel like that's wrong.
No, you are absolutely correct. Carmina. As you make your way to the Ivory Tower, or the Ivory Tavern, rather. A tavern, a high-end tavern in the 10, just north of Lathander's home, the Sunrise. You journey across the Deanery, and as the final little spatterings of those festivals have finally ended, the constant flow of people in the streets has died down, and now you only see hundreds upon hundreds of people making their way through, save for the constantly congested streets. Looking at the Ivory itself, it is a 2-floor tavern, and living up to its name, a beautiful white exterior, has some marble walls and tile floors, which you're like, well, that's not Ivory. But as you enter in, you find this just brilliant interior, and a half-elven maitre d' approaches and says, I would love to say hello to you. Would you allow me such grace?
Before that, just so Vincent is wearing one of his better outfits. It's black kind of dressed jean pants, but they've got beige floral patterns over them. And he's got a full beige shirt, with like thin flower patterns, like smaller ones, and then his new cape that he got, it's always gonna look like some sort of like over the shoulder coat, either with chains or without. Right now it's just a black over the shoulder cape coat.
He kind of like
His,
pauses.
well peeved.
Sir, can I aid you with anything?
I have an appointment. I'm here to see Carmina. Is she here?
Oh, Carmina. Absolutely. You've the second floor. Please follow me for a moment. As he turns, he seems like he has everything that's going on here memorized. As he just begins to fluidly make his way through.
Half elf, right?
Half elf, yes. Places down a drink on his way, picks up a tray, moves through, grabs the tray, walks up to a table, places it down, and just in fluid motions makes his way to the far back corner of the second floor of this tavern. You find your way up the solid mahogany steps and across the red velvet curtains, or across the red velvet carpet, and you find a woman in the corner awaiting your approach. Let me go ahead and scroll a little bit. I just had something written immediately at the very beginning that I was just like, okay. You find she's sitting with this, she wears a lot of velvet, but she has a black and red fine double-breasted coat on that she sits. You see she is wearing a long velvet skirt that comes down to her ankles, and she is sitting with both legs crossed over. She's holding on to a small book that she is currently clutched to her chest. She has black hair pulled back into a bow that sits in like a high, heavy bun, hair flowing down the side and up and around an ear, pale pink eyes, and incredibly pale skin.
Is she human?
She looks human, yeah.
Okay. So
And
she has pink eyes.
She has pink eyes, which is very, very rare. And she, at the very least, you've never really seen it in a human that did not have white hair as well. And as you approach her, she looks up towards you and she stands and she says, Vincent, are you?
Yes, Vincent Goldwater. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance. And he'll lean down to take her hand. Soleil?
Indeed, Soleil.
And he'll give it a kiss.
She leans in, gives you a kiss on each cheek. I did not know you were versed in the knowledge of CERN.
Well, it gets around.
Indeed, it does, as do I. I have been to CERN. It is a beautiful place if you have not ever been.
I haven't had the pleasure, unfortunately.
Well, perhaps one day. She sits down. What can I help you with? I have heard that you have interest with Our Lady of Pleasure.
To a certain degree. I wanted to inquire about owning some property within the Ishtar district. What would that entail and what you would have available?
She opens up her book. The only grandchild of Castile Goldwater wishes to own land within our humble home. To what do we owe this honor?
Nothing more than your... Sorry, Bianca's trying to think of like... Ishtar is... She's the goddess of like war, love, and there was like two other things, right?
Ishtar is a very passionate goddess. Her domains specifically are...
She's really interesting because she's the only goddess that, or like god that actually is love and conflict. So it's not just positive or negative, she's both. So she's very interesting.
Her domains are magic, strength, summer, and war. She's a goddess of also weather, and she's a goddess of love and war, passion, and you bring as much fury into the fight as you do into the bedroom. Is a lot of what the followers of Ishtar take amongst her followers.
Vincent just at that statement is just like, "Your lovely goddess Ishtar. I think our ideals quite align. Why wouldn't I want to live here?"
Indeed, you have been making quite the stir among the districts. At the very least, with the black sheep. How is Rosa? And your mother?
Does Vincent know that people know about his mom? I guess.
That's, I mean, basically, if you are aware of the rumors surrounding your family, you would be aware of everything going on. But she is basically just displaying to you that she has done her research on you.
Okay. Rose is doing quite well. Peachy as always. And my mother, she seems to be well as well. Thank you for asking.
Of course, I just... You know how everything can be. Anytime I receive a hello, it is in my nature to, you know, just get to know the person. So,
Of course.
Carmina Valentine. She reaches a hand out once again to shake, since I have not properly introduced myself. So rude.
Vincent will lean in for the handshake, unless he thinks it's more appropriate to kiss her hand again.
Yeah, that seems to be what she's as like hand over hand. As a Cyrnan, kiss the top of my hand, please.
Okay, you'll do that.
And as she looks at you, actually roll history as well.
She is very certain, right?
She is very actually her I wanted to say vocale, which I actually really feel like should be a word, and I'm going to make it a word. Her vocale is more delicate than it is Cyrnan.
Okay.
And with your history check,
I got a 21 technically because this isn't taking
very
into
nice.
account the luck stone I have on.
With your history check of 21, you are actually speaking to someone who also is, technically speaking, a member of a very prominent family. The Valentines are among the most powerful invokers and enchanters in the city.
Your reputation precedes you quite well as well.
That is my family's reputation. I do not claim anything so amazing of my own quite yet. But keep your ears open. She gives a smile.
She's how old do you think she is, and how attractive?
She looks younger than you. She is ravishingly attractive. And I don't know if that's the right verb to use for that. But she is she has also been spent very, very long time, as far as you can tell, from how not a single wrinkle within the suit, the way she keeps herself. This is a meeting of
She
importance
hacked.
to her.
That meeting of certain statuses. Yeah.
And as she continues conversation with you, you wished to purchase land, you say. This is something that I can actually help you facilitate, of course. You will need to drop by our family home, which I can absolutely allow you entry into. Then beyond that, it is just a simple matter of payment for the land parcel. We would be happy. You are known within this district already. You are a valuable member of the community. We would be so happy to give you a parcel of land, of course.
Well, thank you for your offering. I will definitely stop by. Do you have any documentation on the cost?
Of course, as she pops open the book that she holds at her. Basically, you are looking at 10% the cost of whatever parcel of land you were looking for. If you want something of a larger parcel of land, it can go upwards of 5,000 gold pieces. Smaller parcels of land are significantly smaller.
Okay.
Are significantly smaller, significantly cheaper. But looking at it, she offers you several individual pieces. You can, if you are looking for something of a storage house or a warehouse, it goes for as little as 1,500 gold pieces. A shed can go for 200 gold pieces, which I imagine you don't want a shed in their district.
Yeah.
But a large warehouse that would be like something for shipping and 8,000 square feet is 9,000 gold pieces.
I will just glance over at the sheet and take note and thank her for it as well. Do you think Ishtar would also be interested in a favor or two or something like this?
She looks at you and you're standing. She looks at your clothing. She begins to investigate your charisma. And as you can basically see her one by one hit a point of just satisfied. As she begins to smile and says, perhaps. But actually, dealing with Ishtar herself is not something that happens very often. Unless you're willing to pay your way into the family home. But you can try and convince me. She gives you a smile.
That goes for the family as well, I guess. He'll smile back.
Indeed, I have quite a bit of clout within our family.
Well, if you guys have any specific favors you need, just let me know. I'll see if we can look into them.
She smiles, says, "We have a few called to arms and a few called CFAs out currently, so I will."
Is there a way for her to give me like a code number to like track those down? Or-
She'll keep you informed. It's basically how she's treating it. She's, "I know where you live. Not that I want that to be threatening at all. I imagine you know where I live too. My family home, of course.
You can visit anytime, darling. It's not an issue.
Business before pleasure.
Always.
It has been absolutely lovely to meet you, Vincent."
Vincent will ask her if she wants to order anything, and he'll cover it.
Just a tea, I think.
He'll do the same. He'll get a coffee though, an espresso.
Nice. Go ahead and roll insight.
The 13.
She really loves tea. As she takes tea comes, she takes a long just smell of it, sits back, takes a calm and decisive sip, like spinning the cup around in her hand to find a particular angle to drink it. She spins it and drinks it. She seems like a connoisseur at the very least. And as you guys continue this conversation for quite some time, eventually she stands and says, "I'm afraid I must be going, but you've kept me too long." Go ahead and roll charisma for me.
It's just a general charisma check, right?
Yeah, just charisma ability check.
Silver Tongue doesn't get to add anything to this. Okay.
This is just generally how charming you are, as opposed to any particular. That's one of those numbers. That's a
25.
natural 20 per 25. She hands you. She takes a handkerchief out. Actually, she takes off her glove. She has like this thin white glove. She takes off the glove, kisses the top of it, flips it around, and hands it to you as a token of favor. She says, "We must do this again."
Of course, darling. I enjoyed myself immensely.
You know where to find me. And she makes her way out, running her hand across the table, and with calm, confident steps, just like very
So,
light-footed, makes her way out of the area.
I made a token of favor to Ishtar's family.
You've gained a token of favor specifically from her, but for that natural 20 and the entire conversation going about, moral fate dice. Favor is actually quite difficult to gain. You did not gain any favor with the family. You did gain that favor. Like, you can put that on your character sheet.
Valentine.
Yeah, she seems to be pretty. She's impressed with you. She likes you.
She's smitten. She likes you.
She likes you. Two people come up to you and are just like, "Hey, are you Carmina's friend? She likes you." And then they run off into the distance. No, that does not happen. We are not in middle school. And the camera pulls back as we take another 15-minute break here. All of you go and get your liquid in the body so that you don't die, because I like you all.
Cool.
Excellent.
Good.
We'll see you all soon.
See ya.
As we cycle through, Jojo, you were up. How do you spend your eve?
Jojo goes to through these walls and goes to visit her mom. Also, I'm not blinded anymore. Or bloody.
You don't say that. I can remove all of those from you.
Well, I guess it's true, am I?
No. No, you are 100% correct. As you make your way to the Enchanter's College on the western side of the circle, passing through the magical pathways and sparsely lit by dancing flames kind of walkways, you see these just large animalistic people wearing fine suits passing through. You meet all kinds within here, as academics is the only sign of importance. And as you find yourself in the Enchanter's College, the person at the front, "Oh, can I help you?"
Yeah, I'm looking for a Ronian mix.
Rowan and everyone's looking for Rowan and Manx. She's never where she's supposed to be, only ever where she's not.
Yeah, I know that. Well, she told me she's supposed to be here, so is she here?
Is this in the past or the future?
She told me 3 days ago to meet her here.
That doesn't answer my question. Rowena enters in from the... She opens the door and is just like, Joseph, just stop it. Oh, very
What's
well.
this guy's deal?
Name's back. You see he's a fine little gnomish individual wearing a thin pencil suit. And it's just like... it literally looks like a pencil. You can see like he's got Charlie Brown zigzags on the top. The top is light brown, his hair is black, and the rest is kind of like a dark orange. He literally looks like a gnomish pencil. As he sits there, he looks at you, his hair is fastidiously done, his eyebrows are combed, and he keeps his chin constantly pointed upwards. His name is Joseph. And your mother's like, Jojo, come on in, don't mind Joseph. Like,
Okay.
Yes. No mind for Joseph. Joseph.
Yep.
No,
I
Yeah,
won't.
come on in, Jojo. She closes the door, and you can just hear on
What
the other side of it.
the hell is up with that guy?
Don't worry. Here, I tell you what. She takes a key and just turns it, and you can hear the entire interior of the room that you just came from shuffles out in a different direction, and you can hear the mumblings of people on the other side. There. Now we won't be bothered by Joseph. Now we're in a different room.
Okay. Sick. This like entire thing built like that.
No, it's a lot of the colleges around Mistress aren't really physically, possible. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I had some experience with that yesterday.
Oh, did you get lost?
I guess a little. There was like a fae thing. I don't know. They suck.
Tell me everything. What did they look like? What was it like? Were you begin at the beginning? It's usually a good place to start. And then she just sits down. You regale her with the tale of your water mobbit adventure.
Yeah. Anyways, that's no.
Yeah.
I'm here though, Mom.
Oh, of course. You wanted to talk to me. You see she's shuffling things around on her desk and covering up papers and moving everything so that there's a place to put your elbows.
Yeah, I wanted to know if you knew anything about people having dreams and nightmares after getting an ash bond.
Like
You've looked at stuff like that, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's not a common happening, but it is absolutely something that can occur. What exactly is the nature of these dreams?
Like all sorts of things. Like, there was just the night before yesternight, I was in like a forest, and the forest turned to ash, and trees fell down into the shape of an eye around me. And then the night before that, I woke up in my bed and did my morning routine, went downstairs, and then woke up again in my bed, went downstairs, did my morning routine, woke up again. I think I told you about this the other day. And then there was like a dog that sounded like the stairs, and there was water and it was boiling.
And
Shit like that.
Has anything happened since then? I'm not a neurologist, but I haven't studied up too much about dreams specifically.
Did I have a dream last night, or?
I would say in this instance you did not.
Okay. I don't know. Nothing last night. I don't know if it's really erratic. Oh, by the way, my god said he saw you. I leveled up and he saw you while I was doing that.
Leveled up already.
Yeah.
Can I see? Can I see?
Yeah, sure. And she shows her.
She begins to, you see her place her hand on your arm and pulls her hand back, and as she does, this just array of information is projected outwards, and she just begins to study you.
Is there a special thing she did there, or did
no,
it?
This is just. Is this not? Did your god not teach you of this? This is.
I've never seen anyone do that hand thing you just did.
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, I don't think you really need to do that. Really, it's fun.
Okay.
She just sits back and begins to if you examine someone's ash bond, you can invoke your own to attempt to look at the information, so long as they're willing. It's not something you can pull from someone unwilling. And she studies you, and it all just kind of dissipates. My daughter is amazing. Those are all of my children, of course. It is to be expected. You've lived up to my expectation. She places her hand on your cheek. I might have to go away for a while.
Not
Like
that
how long?
Maybe a few months. It's, maybe a little bit longer. I've received the opportunity to study something abroad, and it seems rather important. Not that I want to leave you all, but it's tricky.
Okay.
Big opportunity is what I want to say.
Okay. Well, good for you. That's good.
Are you? I thought so, and you see she immediately like bubbles up a little bit. It's like it's such an advancement. I might need you to ask you to take care of Ron and make sure that he gathers the money from the.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I left 20 platinum with him earlier. I don't think he knows what to do with it, but
Goodness, it's a lot of money.
a fey. I don't
Faye.
know.
Certainly. She sits back and begins to pick your brain. Was there anything else that you wanted to talk with your mama about, or just like a chill with time?
I guess, do you know why he might have seen you? Are you okay?
I mean, it's worrying, but do you know, like, what is the nature of this that he saw me? Am I in danger? Am I...
He said he just saw you.
Does he see me not capably accomplishing a task in the near future?
He didn't give me anything other than he just saw you. He thought maybe I should... he said he just saw you, and I said I would come in and check on you to make sure you're okay.
Can you bring him here?
I don't know if he leaves,
Oh, well, he should.
but I'll ask him if he's interested. And he'll probably be gone. Where are you going?
I can't really say.
Okay,
Sorry.
got
But
you.
I know that you'll be all right. It's just a short time. It's a short little time. Especially even shorter for your sister. Right? It's
Yeah.
very long lived. You can see she's nervous. And she's like, but she's peppy as she keeps herself as usual.
Yeah, I'll take care of everyone. Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna miss you for a while. And well, the entire time I'm gone, to specify. Just to
Mhm.
make sure that stayed. I'm not going to stop missing you after a while. I'll miss you the entire time. She
Yep.
brings you in and gives you a hug.
I'll probably be leveled up another 2 times when you come back, so...
Oh my goodness, you had better not get further than me. I've been entreating Mistra for months, and yet still.
What, are you bond or rank locked?
It's been close to a half a year.
Oh man. What's her deal?
I know she's busy, but
Oh, okay.
yeah. Well, maybe I'll join your family. Just kidding. Although maybe for a short time and then pop back. I feel like that's
I don't
betrayal.
know Just a light betrayal, though.
Oh,
You know,
well.
like
What's a little bit of betrayal when it comes to academic advancement?
I'm sure Mistra would understand that.
I'm sure she would. The conversation continues into the early morning. You see Joseph opens the door and he's like, I've traversed across the campus to find you.
No one cares, Joseph.
Oh, well, that's relative. He leaves, staring at you as the door closes. On the other side of it. And we pull away
Oh my god.
from whatever just happened.
That was.
Yeah, Matilda.
You
How does
thought
your
Vincent was pretentious.
how do you spend your eve?
Thank God I'm
Matilda?
not like, oh ho ho ho.
Oh God. I do want to say that I was gonna be like, I think Matilda and JoJo's mom will get along, and then I was like, wait, they probably wouldn't, because they're way too similar in the way they pursue information. They probably would not like each other. But anyway, I like to think that Pom Pom and Matilda are at her place, and they're working on whatever they were working on. She's like cordoned off like her living space so that the rabbit thing can run freely and not be hogtied anymore. So she's trying to make a relationship with it, even though she threatened to eat it. But we'll see how that goes. But there's a knock on the door, and a very disgruntled Mama Mal is on the other side with a big like pot of dinner, pretty much being like, "What the fuck, guys?"
She marched her ass across the across the district, you get to the house with this pot of food, like out in the night, and just breaks through the door. And it's just like, I cooked this. I've been also, she's like sweaty. I've been walking for an hour. You're supposed to be at my house.
And then I think like Pom Pom and I are like working, and we're like, come here.
She enters in and it's just like, what are you doing? Overlooks that.
And then while we're working, I like regale the story of what happened. And I don't think I told Pom Pom yet either. We were so focused on work. We were like, we have a problem to solve. So I tell the story, show my missing part of my finger, my ear, talk about everything that happened. And we just have a lovely evening dinner. And I think that we work. And then Matilda like passes out and her parents like tuck her into bed for nighttime. She's just so tired.
Also, for your examination of the torch bloom, you have both Arcana and Nature proficiency, yes?
I don't think I have either, which is hilarious.
No?
But let me take a look.
I think no, you don't have Arcana or Nature. I was looking at the proficiencies yesterday.
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make a straight Nature check.
Okay, I feel like I should move towards a Nature proficiency because I use it a fuck ton. But
Does JoJo need to give everyone Arcana classes?
You could, yeah.
Magic for
just
dickwads.
straight.
Get over here, chumps.
Why? So can I use my inspiration? I want to re-roll that. Do I have inspiration?
I don't think you have.
I think you used it on your health die when we first leveled up. We haven't gained any inspiration.
Rude. Okay, well, whatever. It's an 8.
There was only one tiny little thing and it resulted in the ultimate death of 15 people that you guys did not accomplish on your last mission. I'm just kidding. Even if that were true, I would not share that information. Matilda, with an 8, you can actually roll this with advantage because of Mama Mal and Pom Pom aiding you in this, specifically Pom Pom.
Yeah, they got the nature.
Got the nature. As you look over it, you're not entirely certain of the full capabilities of it. As you clip it, it grows back. It does not seem to take sustenance, and it does not seem to grow. It almost seems like this is a immaculate growth from this item. You're not entirely certain that this is cultivated, let alone can be cultivated.
Yeah, I can't propagate it or something.
It does not seem like it's something that you can replicate. The ash from the Ashfall above you, when it lands upon this, it does not pass through it. It just disappears. That is the most interesting thing that you find of this. You have not seen any real object in the history of the world that the ash from the Ashfall does not just go directly through. This is the first time you have seen it. It's like an umbrella for Ashfall.
Okay.
Your Pom Pom and your Mama Mal kind of just tuck you in, despite the frustration. And as you kind of just like into bed, a kiss on each cheek and holding you down, they're like, Mama Mal's like, I'll sing you a rare song. Onai Pake Otoso. As the fires around you flare to life and the room gets dark. And pleasant little lullaby as you pass off to sleep for the evening.
The fire turns green. Everyone's like, ah!
And as you there's somebody walking by is just like shudders as begin to move off into the distance. Beyond that, we find the spotlight here again. Killian, you're up. What do you do with your evening?
All right. So the time that I spend with Thringar, it's kind of like enjoyable, but we don't get too far into like helping him figure out how to replicate this, or
I see. Go ahead and roll. In this case, you can roll intelligence with tool proficiency, so you have proficiency in this regard. And if you have proficiency in Arcana, which you don't, we have discussed this previously, then that would be at advantage. So straight proficiency with intelligence. You have advantage for Thringar's help, though.
Okay.
Just trying to run through everything in my head.
Yeah. Okay. Click.
Oh, it was
That's
on the
almost
nat 20
identical
for
to
So close,
Matilda's
so close.
rolls.
Yeah.
You do
It's-
not. You do not get too far into it, but with Thringar's tutelage, he does begin to show you the inner workings of the Magitech engine. It itself is incredibly complex, being built in a cooperative effort between Mystra, the goddess of magic and mystery, and Gond, the god of like innovation and crafting. You imagine this thing to be like, you have to be some kind of super genius to fully understand it. To replicate it would be maybe a little bit of an easier task. But you gain a lot of inspiration out of looking at this thing, and the ideas just flow to your mind of all of the possibilities in ways that you could create from it. And Thringar's like, you're always welcome here if you want to try and dig deeper into the secrets of this thing.
I definitely will. But I don't want to use up all your time. You know, you're a busy guy. You don't think you have some contacts? You offered them to me when I was starting out, and then I totally flubbed it. But do you think I could order some supplies through you?
Of course. What are you looking for?
About 200 pounds of steel.
What are you making?
Well, you'll have to. I don't want to spoil the surprise.
You know me, I love surprises. Spoil it just a little bit, please.
It's taller than the both of us combined.
Oh, I look forward to seeing that. I picture a really, really long stick.
It's gonna be better than that.
Better than a
than a
long stick. He's just like razzing you at this moment. You see the apprentice once again kind of opens the door and moves in and begins to work in the forge. And she just kind of looks back at you and she's like, so you're Killian? Right?
Yeah. Yes. Hello. Sorry, I probably didn't make a great first impression the first 6 times I came in here.
Well, spits in her hand. Tell you what, I've been avoiding you like the plague because I thought, fuck that goblin. I was sitting there thinking, I can't believe that you would. But in the end, I've gotten through it. I don't mind. And I tell you one thing, don't steal my fucking job. Please. Just like running through these emotions on her face as she's desperate to try and suss out how you react to any one of these so she can pick her own personality.
I think the first thing I'm gonna wonder is, did she spit in her hand to like do a handshake?
Yeah, like reach the hand forward.
I'll do the same, I guess. It kind of like I like spit and it like dribbles off my lip and I kind of have to like wipe it off. But then I go for the handshake.
She's looking at you and you see like you're going for the spit handshake, so she's chosen stern. But as you like are just like, huh? She just fucking cracks and it's just like it shakes your hand with both. She's like, my name's Shadon. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Shadon.
And then you see Thringar leans back and just, I like this. I like it. I like this. You should come by more often, Killian. Show Shadon a thing or two. Not that bad.
And I haven't seen you work, so I don't know. But I can make some time. When I'm not diving or building or doing whatever I'm doing. Dying. I stepped on lava last night.
What?
Yeah, I like look down and I still haven't gotten like new shoes. I mean, there it is.
Oh, I just assumed you didn't wear shoes.
I mean, that's not that far off either. They weren't very good shoes.
Oh, tell me about the dungeon. And she just completely ignores everything you're saying and goes into her own questions. But as she picks your brain for virtually everything she can think of, and Thringar kind of sits back and just lets all this happen with a big warm smile on his face and a pipe in his mouth. The like jovial nature of everything stops, and then just immediately you guys begin focusing in on study again. Thringar lets you know that you can if you run by Galahad's airship right, which is just down the road from Thringar's shop, they and just mention that you are coming from Thringar's, they would be happy to sell you any goods that you would need for something like that. So 200 pounds of steel, 200 gold pieces, basically 1-to-1 for weight and value of goods.
Yeah, I pay it out. Hand them platinum. Do I know from like an etiquette standpoint, is this the kind of thing that you tip on, or are people very like exact numbers? This is how much it's worth. Don't waste our time.
Ooh, roll a general roll insight. You have no idea.
Well,
1d20 plus 0 plus 0 equals 3.
that's probably why I wasn't good at business. So I'm gonna go ahead and tip them. So for the 200 gold worth of steel, I'm just gonna give them the 22 platinum that I have.
I'm gonna roll to see how much of a a-hole they are. They take it. They thank you. They give a nod, and the word, you can hear word begin to spread of the little goblin who, like, less than a week ago was known as, like, you know, this goblin who shows up at Thringar's, and now it's like you just drop 22 platinum on the table, and they're just, all right. Rumor begins to spread. You don't just drop that chunk of change and walk away from it, literally being like, I imagine you actually want more than it's worth. Here you go. And you leave.
They're going to be like, who'd you steal that from, though, huh?
There's still, you know, even though I've given the tip, it's still like it's not the air of like, and, you know, keep the change, you filthy animal. It's like, thank you very much. Like, I'll be ready to receive it later.
200 pounds of steel. You can, if you have a carriage or a cart, you can take that right now.
You could just get Paka with the cart.
That's true. Paka could actually have gone with you if you want.
Sure. Yeah, let's say that Paka's with me.
Even better, you drop off this 22 platinum, and then this tiny little lizard's just like, thank you. Whoop. It just rushes out this open bay door as everyone in the room just jaws drop, and the two of you exit and around the corner in the like sparse moonlight. As soon as you leave around the corner, you just hear like the entire interior begins just going wild about everything.
I just hear like mind Vincent.
Yeah. So I'll take my leave from Thingar for now, because I'll be visiting him here and there in the next little while before I finish making my project. But I'm gonna start. I guess I'm gonna take it all the way down to Old Town.
Okay, yeah.
Because I don't think I would want to make this in my shop. I don't think I have room for it.
It takes a bit of time, but it's honestly just fun to watch just about everyone you pass by be like, huh? As I see this duo of you two and Paka carrying just a ludicrous ton of steel. It's just a fun little happening, a parade down the city streets of the Dennery. And we cycle through. Now, Vincent. Am I correct? Yes.
Yes. So Vincent, on his way over, he's going to go this evening visit the House of Midnight, which is a theater in Ishtar's district. He's going to go talk to Theo. But on his way over, would he be able to purchase 2 things quickly?
Within the district?
Doesn't matter. I guess so, yeah.
What are you attempting to buy?
He just wants a enduring notebook.
Let's see if there is. At the Whipthorn, you have a barbershop, tavern. Aha, Vladimir's research. You can find your magic items just around the corner.
And he'd like a rapier as well.
Okay. Regular rapier?
Yeah. I would like it to look the way Vincent wants it to look. It has like a certain swoop to the cover handle of it, and I want the blade to be like dark iron, so it almost looks black with like a red stripe down the middle.
Ooh, sick. If you want a custom paint job, they're just like, we could have it for you by the morning. But if you want this to be handmade, it's going to be fancy and much better. Your choice.
What is? So he's just saying I could take a pre-existing rapier and paint it, or custom-made rapier.
Or you can have a custom-made rapier for yourself. Narratively, stuff. Like, people are like, ooh, that's a nice-ass rapier. But
yeah,
mechanically, not a thing.
Specific design for the top.
Awesome. So the rapier it'd be about, they're like typically something like 30 gold for you. I can give it that cost. You work with the Black Sheep, yes? Tell Rosa I say hello. 20 gold off as well. 24 gold pieces.
Vincent just inclines his head and thanks him.
Hey, you are known in the district. You are a friend of the area. No problem. And he sells you a rapier. He says, so if you want it kind of adjusted, that'll be the morning, or you can take it right now.
I'll just wait till the morning. That's fine. We're gonna have downtime. And then just the enduring notebook on the way over.
The enduring notebook, I believe. Let me go check that as well.
That was a homebrew item that you made, similar to the enduring spellbook.
That's 20 gold pieces.
Is there any way I can barter on that one, or no? It's just
That
20
one
bucks?
that's already at cost.
Okay.
Which is you're aware, pretty big discount in general.
Okay.
Things are usually marked up like 20% or more. But having all of your fame in one district can definitely help you out in regards to that.
Yeah, he will purchase that and head over to Theo.
For those watching at home, there is obviously a nature of fame within the game, and each individual and the family have their own fame to attend to. Killian may have just gained infamy or fame, but we'll find out what happens. And Vincent has just stacked this one district with all his fame. And Vincent, you go to the House of Midnight, yes?
Yes.
Entering into the fine show theater. Moving down the mahogany kind of slope, you see a small group of performers who are practicing, and standing over in this box, like just listening, you can see the people who are on stage, completely empty save for Theo. I'm getting that correct, yes, Theo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Theo is sitting just in this one small chair watching them, and as they finish their performance, they're just like staring down at him. He just stands, turns, and begins to walk away from them, and they're all just like, is that good? Is that bad? Did we impress? Theo approaches you with a straight face and just gives a smirk and a smile. I love when they wonder. Come on, love. Come.
Of course.
They can wait. He turns back towards them and says, you can rest now. And they all just kind of what does that mean? As the two of you make your way up to the second floor kind of balcony, and he overlooks the stage. What brings you here, Vincent?
Well, things have changed of late, and I was wondering if you could do me a small favor.
I have heard. He gives a
Have you
smile.
now?
I have. I'm very well connected, my friend.
As you are, usually. That's why I come. I'm looking for someone, specifically a bard.
Oh,
Someone who'd be willing to mentor.
do I need to be jealous?
Depends. I like a man who's jealous of me.
I have a very serious pouty face. Now, what manner of bard are you looking for? A mentor, I assume?
Yeah, someone who can work with me with spells. Spell research, specifically.
I can
I've
keep
had
an
some
ear to the
ideas
ground.
going around, and I can achieve some myself, but past that, I'd probably need some help.
I didn't describe Theo either. You see a somewhat short-haired elven man standing at full height, this high elf moving with a otherworldly pride, grace, and fluid movement. His kind of black leather vest set open, only a single button down near the navel and flares out at the bottom for these tight, kind of black leather pants. He's currently wearing thigh-high boots. So the entire ensemble looks like you could maybe fit half of him in it, but he seems to wear it rather comfortably. And as he looks onwards towards you with these striking eyes, he says, mentors aren't easy to come by, but I can most certainly keep my ears to the ground for you.
If there's any, does Vincent know if there's a bulletin board in the theater that people put up, called our own little theatrical calls to aid?
I mean, within the district, there absolutely is, and there's also a playwrights guild that handles a lot of that kind of thing. But that's in Garl Glittergold's district, and they deliver missives.
Okay.
So that's the most official way. But the House of Midnight is too famous to offer anything like that. Business. Basically, they will approach you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I know, like you said, you are quite in the know. So if you do find anyone who's interested in a little bit of extra income, please send them my way.
Absolutely will.
I won't really be available past maybe a month from now. Figured we'd check out the dungeon, but for right now, I should be good until then.
Don't let them hurt your face.
That is the number one priority. Don't worry, darling.
That's why I like you. That and your limitless potential, child. If only you were an elf.
Darling, I think I'm quite perfect the way I am, but thank you for the compliment.
Maybe I could convince Coralon to take you.
I'll leave that for you to dabble in. One can only dream.
He's kind of leans back and looks down and approaches the performers who are kind of still on the stage and resting. You can go home.
Oh, one more thing that just came to mind, Theo. In the future, not right now, but I might need to borrow some of your practice spaces. Do you think you could make room for little old me?
Only if you have an account with us at the moment. If you wish to perform, we offer sometimes. On those days, you can have the practice space. Otherwise, it's pretty much booked. Business first, love.
Of course. We'll chat when it gets closer to the date, but I think you might like what I have in store, so I'll keep you in suspense for now.
He takes a step up onto the balcony, and you can hear the performers on the bottom side as he kind of like spins around on the railing and just gives a nod, takes a step back, and disappears from your sight. The other people are like, you hear this gasp, and as you just kind of like, yep, this is just what he does. He always has a flair for the dramatic. And then he just begins to make his way down the slope once again towards the performers and says, I said you could go home. Chop, chop. They just stand and begin to gather their stuff and leave. In the meantime, as we have finished this little RP day, you all can begin your downtime here. You guys wanted to explore you guys wanted to check into spell research as well?
I did. I don't know if anyone else wants to.
I doubt that JoJo would have heard spell research and not been like, yeah, I'm interested.
I figured.
Matilda will come too and like just see what you have to say. Doesn't necessarily mean that she'll do it, but she's just curious as to what this means.
Where's the
Kellyanne
library
would be
located,
curious.
Adrian?
The Owl's Eye doubles as a library. I'm sorry. The Owl's Grand Library is actually right near the Lavender Cafe.
Oh no. Is it part of the school?
It is attached to the Amaranth Institute of the Ring, and it is the largest.
Am I allowed in there?
You're not entirely sure.
I'm gonna go anyway.
It is attached to the Amaranth Institute of the Ring, and as you all begin to approach, JoJo does get some looks. Moving through the campus area, nobody seems to approach, but there is a visible frustration at seeing JoJo within the area.
William just assumes that they don't like her.
Yeah, like
same. Yeah, same thing. Everyone, Matilda's just like, oh, okay. It's just like what I usually do.
I guess I should let you guys know that I may or may not be allowed on campus, but this is technically attached, so I think I'm partially allowed to be here.
I'm not gonna pry into your personal business as long as it doesn't cause any issues.
I'm pretty sure I won't get kicked out, but some people might start shit.
As you enter in, I need you to go ahead and roll a d20 for me.
Me? Who?
Just JoJo in this instance.
This is the are they gonna start shit roll.
Keeping your eye out in the area, you don't see anyone that you necessarily directly recognize or hate thoroughly. But as you enter into the library, you see a very, 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 very interesting looking person. None of you have ever seen a creature like this, but the Fae continues. You see a fawn, a female satyr, who is moving like just bashfully and quickly bounding around the area, and you see like just this mirthful leap, as it were, as she places some books into place and begins to move her way around, stops and looks over at you all. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that you had to see me like that. So high up in the air, above you all. I don't consider myself.
No, it's fine,
you.
darling.
Okay, excellent.
I like someone who's got a spring in the step.
Is that like a
Are we going to...
Vincent likes a lot of people.
Oh, me too.
What's not to like about people, Matilda? As many
A
ships
lot of
beside you.
things.
Well, yeah. Do you want to drink? Are you here for... You hear the people behind her be like, shh. Right, yes, sorry. How can I help you?
Oh, sorry, darling. What are you to incline about study spaces for spell research?
She takes her glasses out. And
Would
pops them.
Jojo know about this? You spent a lot of time in this library.
You've never seen this person before. You have
No,
spent
like-
a lot of time in this library. You've never seen this person.
What Vincent is asking about? Just Jojo.
Oh,
thinks
for spell
he
research.
could- Yeah.
No, spell research is from the nature. Like you do have a basic understanding of spell research already, but that's not something that you ever like explored. However, you can, in essence, study to create your own new spells via the tutelage of a mentor or with access to a specific library.
Yeah.
And you're pretty comfortable with the general concept of the process. You've never tried it yourself.
I mean, she couldn't cast spells before.
Precisely. And probably, honestly, a little bit of jealousy in that regard as well, seeing people come and go from this library. But as she looks on towards you, she says, right, yes, well, if you would like temporary membership within the owl, I absolutely can offer that to you. If you would like to become a member, you'll have to entreat yourself in front of the archivist and undertake his test. I don't know if any of you have been to a library before. It's pretty common practice.
I look
Yeah.
towards Jojo. Vincent knows of libraries. He's gone in them if he needed to. He's done research in the past regarding his jobs. He's kind of a jack of all trades, but I wouldn't say he frequents them a lot anymore.
She's like staring at you as you're thinking this. And then she says, you don't need to have frequented libraries. You did not say that out loud. That's totally fine. There's nothing that can keep
Darling,
you.
one thing.
Yes.
Can you stay out of this? Don't tap his head. I like my privacy.
Not really. Sorry. I'll try. I can try. It's active. My mind wanders. I apologize. Here, I can certainly try. And you see she like shirks down a little bit.
What did she make of Matilda's mind? Poor dear.
I tell you what. Yeah, if you're looking into spell research, you have access to the unrestricted archives up to cantrip level. But if you wish to research high level spells for the weekend, we can absolutely allow that. And then beyond that, we will need you.
What about first level?
Just a little bit of a fee, and then you can absolutely just 4 gold, and then at any time you can take the test in front of the archivist to gain full membership.
Which archivist?
The archivist.
And does Jojo know who that is?
You have heard stories. Go ahead and roll history.
How do we take this test?
Would I know who this is?
You might.
Would
Roll
I
history as
perhaps
well.
have advantage from my researcher background?
Yes, without a doubt. Ooh,
Natty 20.
that's a
20.
number I
24.
like to see. 24.
History. Boop.
And dirty 20. A very nice combo, people. Both of you are somewhat aware of the archivist. It's hard not to hear tell of the archivist within certain circles because there are very few Luxodon that exist within the city, and fewer that have been seen. In fact, this is one of the first Luxodon that have basically proven that Luxodon exist within the last
a
20
Luxodon?
years.
The
A
big
elephant
elephant.
person.
Elephant person. They're not from the dungeon.
But he is the archivist who has left Falna, the jungle continent, to come here away from the tribal nature of that continent for the massive wealth of information within Amaranth.
Ah, yes, Babar.
What is the aside
Well-
from the
What's her
aside
name?
from the fee? What does the test involve?
Well, that's up to the archivist, not me, and I'm afraid I can't share information with the test.
Is this something we can do today, or do we have to make an appointment?
It's something you could do. Most certainly, it doesn't require a little bit of an appointment. So perhaps in a few months.
Is there any way we can get on the fast track list for that?
Sure.
He'll lean down, sweetie.
So I'm at work.
Yeah, he's
People tell me
propositioning
that's a
you.
thing. Yeah, sex, yes. Are we going to... Points towards Matilda now.
Should we turn around?
No. What? You see, she's
What?
just like mad confused as she's watching all this happen. Go ahead and roll nature, everybody.
Even if we're not proficient.
Yep, absolutely. In this
Oh my
instance.
god, this is so much fun.
Adrian, what was the name of the Loxodon?
Just the archivist.
Babar.
Matilda Babar. That is
Then Jojo, it would be.
Jojo and Matilda. Both of you are somewhat aware of the nature of Fawn and Satyr, in that they are creatures of basically like constant revelry. And the very concept of Vincent just walking in and just being like, sweetie, she's just like, okay, so sex then, right? Like here, but not right now. Because I mean, maybe yes, right now, not in this room. It's like basically how Satyr exists. It's just revelry and whatever is fun and whatever is in the moment, spontaneity, and like you're surprised that there's not a festival going on right now behind this woman. Basically.
They're fey, but not monstrous, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Vincent, her thing, like she seemed willing, so he's just like, if you can help us along and move us up on the list, perhaps.
Yeah, fuck it. That's all the thought I think she puts into things like, don't do this, that's against the rules. She's just like, yeah, I get something out of this, I'm in.
Well, let's make this arrangement, and I'll make sure to see this deal through.
Okay. So for the nature of this, that's like, this is something that you guys can do, but will probably be a bit of roleplay. So in the nature of this, for your downtime, you can research up to first level spells for free. If you guys want to attempt to take the Archivist tests, we can do a series of rolls, see whether or not you succeed, whether you get a library card, and then we can like revisit that roleplay afterwards.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do we need
Okay.
to sign up for the test as a group, or can they be individually? Like,
You have to do it individually.
Okay, great. I'm just wondering if JoJo's reputation here will affect her family members.
Oh, I had not considered that when
no,
we
you
talked
put
about.
stuff in
I'm just kidding.
DMs.
No, you no. I was just joking around. You are aware of the reputation of the Owl Library, so long as it's not directly connected to the Amaranth Institute of the Ring. It's there for proximity's sake, because it's a very valuable research site. But Ogma, the god of knowledge, shares knowledge freely and does not want to restrict the usage of that, which is why this massive repository is even available to you guys. It would not be, like, by reputation, restrictive of you.
Great.
And everybody can go ahead and first roll a dexterity saving throw.
Oh.
Welcome to the library.
Do I see the effect?
You can see the effect. Yes. Okay. You actually all succeed. And now I need you guys to go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw. Vincent, Killian, and Matilda, each of you has a level of exhaustion for this next roll, so this will be a disadvantage. I need you to make an Arcana check.
Arcana?
Indeed.
Is there any way Vincent can gain advantage on this by distracting them in some way, like trying to deceive them? I don't know what this test involves. So
You can go ahead and roll deception, and then see if we can nullify that.
it's a +1 to that, so 21.
With a 21, you can roll one more dice for your Arcana check.
But with advantage.
No, just one more dice, and then
I haven't rolled it at all so far.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can absolutely do advantage.
Can I cheat on this test?
It will not advantage straight roll because you had disadvantage to begin with.
Oh.
So one more check.
I
Can you
was gonna
cheat?
say can we just
Yeah.
go with the? Oh, okay. So I'll roll one more time.
Matilda, you can cheat, but if you do cheat, you are immediately expelled if you're caught. Your choice.
Roll a natty 1.
12. All right. And Vincent, Matilda. Jojo, you succeed. Killian, you succeed with flying colors. Vincent, you succeed. And Matilda, do you want to cheat?
You feel like if you don't cheat, you might fail. Either way.
Yeah, fuck
But that
it.
doesn't mean you can't try again later.
Did Killian? Never
Do I
mind.
have disadvantage to cheat?
No, it would just be a sleight of hand check to see whether or not you can gain the information from something.
She's exhausted, so it would.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Disadvantage.
Is it sleight of hand?
Oh,
it's not
disadvantage.
deception?
No, in this instance, it's basically like gathering the materials.
Nah, I won't cheat. Because that's like, no way.
Only got a 15. I forgot about the disadvantage.
Thank you.
I fail.
I think you still pass, Julian.
You succeed. And Matilda, you choose to fail?
Yeah.
You do
'cause
not
of that-
cheat?
No, I don't.
You all pass.
And she's not
Nice.
happy about it.
The archivist lets you know that it is not about what you know. It is about your willingness to gain knowledge. You all pass. And everyone can pay 4 gold in order to cover the fee. And you all gain a library card. You have access to cantrip, 1st and 2nd level spells for spell research.
Test was real dumb.
It was very intelligent.
I want.
I was not in the room with Babar when I said that. I made sure I was very far away.
Well, then in that case, you hear, it was a very intelligent test. Through the wall.
I guess sometime during this downtime, and I'll pass the fawn my card. Sweetie, you can come and visit. Let Rosa know it's on the house.
All the way on the other side. It's so far.
Oh, it'll be worth it. Don't worry, darling. Let's don't look at her.
What if I get distracted on the way there?
Just think of me.
You can come to my house and you can help me with research, I say in Sylvan.
It's so far. This character likes you guys. The archivist is satisfied with your performance. And as you all gather your library card, you look onwards towards the future, and we may begin our downtime.
Yeah.
All right.
So you guys are taking a month off? ?
I would like at least a month. Is anyone opposed to that?
No, I'm fine.
No, I'm good.
Alrighty. With 1 month of downtime, I will pop open my calculator. So many spreadsheets. Why do I like
Excuse me
spreadsheets?
while I get some dice for my jalapeno fingers.
Ooh, dice it up. 28 days. So, for the nature of this, you guys can do up to 3 things for this downtime. You can choose to divvy out the amount of days as you wish, and then you can do things like train a new skill, you can work for money. Anything you do will incur cost, and if you do not work, then that will incur further costs based on your lifestyle. So money is a big
Motivation.
money is a big motivator for this campaign, absolutely.
Yeah.
28 days. We'll start with, we'll skip Jojo for now. We'll start with Killian. How long do you wish to work during this downtime, or do you wish to work during this downtime?
So I had a question about that.
Sure.
If I were to make myself my own suit of armor, how long would that take?
I believe it on a number of days equal to half the cost of the item that you're attempting to craft and half the cost of the item itself in materials. So you can also use the steel that you've purchased.
Right.
To attempt this.
So in the case of a breastplate, should I craft it myself? It would be half the cost in days to craft.
And half the
Is that
cost
right?
of the item itself, yeah. So 200 gold
Right.
pieces and 200 days.
Got it. Okay. Well, then in that case, because my time is going to be spent elsewhere, craft-wise, I am instead going to work for a third of the downtime.
Okay, so 1/3 of 28. 8, 16, 24, 9, 18, 27. So you're basically looking at 9 days. I'll give you an even 10. Or, yeah, we'll do 9. Because we can't split into smaller decimals. So smithing plus smithing, yes. You gain, over the course of 9 days, 7 gold, 6 silver, 5 copper.
All right. 7 gold.
You don't lose
6
anything
silver,
from
5 copper.
living.
That's already turned into like my
Yeah,
daily
that's
costs and everything.
post everything, yeah.
Gotcha.
And then for the amount of days afterwards, because you are not... sorry. Because you are not working, your cost of living costs you 20 gold pieces. 20 gold, 9 silver. For 19 days of work. Let me calculate this. Yes, that's absolutely correct. No, I think that's wrong. I'm absolutely wrong. There's only 2 gold, 8 silver, 5 copper. I was looking at the wrong column.
Okay.
Yeah. You gain a lot more than you lose because you have a poor lifestyle for your home.
Yeah. Sorry, how much did I actually lose?
2 gold, 8 silver, 5 copper.
Silver, 5 copper. Okay.
And for the remainder of the days, what is it that you chose to do?
So, for a portion of the days, I would like to continue to research that power source with Thringar.
Okay.
Because that will lead into... My success with that will kind of lead into how successful I feel my project is.
Okay. Go ahead and make a 1 flat intelligence with proficiency check. You have advantage on this because of Thringar.
Not great.
I mean, you make some progress. It's still incredibly difficult, but you do manage to grasp like the basic, both magical and alchemical formulae that are involved in the creation of this item. You have a pretty big spark of inspiration that you can utilize for the future.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna immediately spend that spark on the remaining days. And if anyone is ever visiting Old Town for the last third of this downtime, they will likely see Killian there, working and shaping metal. She's essentially moved her like shop tools to Old Town. It's not fancy. It's essentially just like a corner near the wall, where all her tools are just kind of splayed out. And she's gonna work pretty tirelessly to craft what is essentially amounts to a large bird-like metallic construct.
And upon the completion of this object and the eyes flaring to life, we will encircle back to that as you spend these days. And Jojo, how would you wish to spend your downtime?
I think she's going to spend like half the time working at the Lavender Cafe. And then split the actually I really want to go to like she really wants to do all the things, but she's like, not enough time. I think that she doesn't work at the Lavender Cafe, but she doesn't go there every day just to check in. She spends half the time working with Lavos at the family home. Like every second day, she'll help him out with setting stuff up. And then the second half is split between sharking with Mortimer and fighting at the Honor Forge.
At the Honor Forge? Okay. So we will say for you actually helping Lavos, you bring the manor to a point where it is like you look onwards towards the completed outer shell of the manor, and it is fully repaired within 10 days with his aid. So you have, in this instance, 18 days. And then for half of those, totaling 9, I just broke everything. Nope. Half of those, you work chest sharking. We'll do the Honor Forge first. You gain 15 gold, 7 silver, and 5 copper through your fights within the forge.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna need that one more time. Hang on.
Sure.
Okay, I'm ready.
15 gold, 7 silver, and 5 copper. And you begin to get noticed within your fights. As you spend quite a bit of time within the district, you gain a little bit of fame. And for the remaining 9 days...
Should I roll something? Like,
If you want to do the modifier, absolutely. So you just roll a straight d20 to see whether or not you can gain.
Oh,
more
okay.
than that.
I'm just wondering if I do good fights.
12. That is a little bit better. You gain an additional 4 gold pieces through tips and people kind of like tossing copper down into the fight ring. And then for the remainder of the downtime, you're chest sharking. You lose 4 silver and 5 copper. But you spend a lot of time with Mortimer. People begin to recognize the two of you. Well, not that they didn't before. Passing through the park, they're just like, hey, it's them again. And that is that downtime spent.
I'd also like to go to the Rift Hunters Guild and just sort of see what one needs to do to become part of that.
That will have to be RP.
Okay.
Yeah. You have to basically like unlock things for downtime through the game. Same thing with the spell research, for example. Because you guys went there and did that, now for downtime it can be done if you guys want to research spells. Matilda will do your downtime next. What did you wish to do with your 28 days?
So I'm assuming that I can't go visit Eldath's place to talk about the book, because, okay, cool. That's fine.
Yeah, Jaeger does get back to you guys through that downtime, but that will also be RP.
Cool. All right, well, the way that Matilda does it, she does 4 days on of work and 3 days off. She works... Yeah. So, like, 4 days of the week she works, and the other 3 she has off.
So you have 4 weeks, that's 16 days of work. And you're working alchemy?
Mm-hmm. At my job at the diver's equipment shop.
And you have medicine proficiency, yes?
We do.
So you gain 16 gold. Did you want to roll a d20 to see if you modify that?
Yes, please. Let's not roll a 1 this time, Matilda.
That is a
5.
Which means that
great.
there's no gain, no loss. Same as
Okay.
usual. So that's 16 gold pieces.
E.
Now you have 8 days. No. You have 12 days remaining.
Yeah. And then I will use that time to study the Torch Bloom some more and then work on the Poisoner's Kit stuff with Pom Pom. So both are going to end up being with Pom Pom. Half of the time could be Torch Bloom, other time could be starting the Poisoner Kit stuff because he offered. They offered.
You can divvy that up among the 12 days however you wish. So 6 days and 6 days.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So make 1 Arcana check for the Torch Bloom. Then the other 6 days you can put towards your Poisoner's Kit proficiency.
Do I get advantage because Pom Pom's helping me or no?
Yes, same rolls before, absolutely.
Okay, hold on. What? Matilda? That's better. That is that
16.
and then what was the other roll?
Just the 1. And the rest go to you can add 6 days towards Poisoner's Kit proficiency. And you will end up spending for the days that you've missed. That is actually, you cost 18 gold in both your Poisoner's Kit proficiency training and the amount of time spent without working. So net loss of 2. You've gained 6 days of Poison Kit proficiency towards the total of 250 at current. Mm-hmm. And then you have your Arcana check. You still do not dive very much deeper into the secrets of the Torch Bloom. You ascertain it's quite a difficult thing to grasp.
I'll get there.
And Vincent, we circle around. You are up. You have 28 days of downtime.
He will spend half of it working.
Where are you working?
Well, actually, he'll spend 2 work weeks of it spell researching a first level spell.
2 work weeks, so 10 days?
Yes.
Okay. So you... you have the spell research on you, right? This one's a little bit more complex, so we can handle that outside of game.
It's 2 work weeks, it's 200 gold, and I have to roll a DC 10 plus the spell level, so DC 11 spell casting ability modifier check to see if it fumbles or not, and I could spend more money or something weird could happen.
Okay, well, I'm totally cool with that then. If you're already fully aware, please do.
Yep. Come on, don't be dumb. Nice. So
Very
DC
nice.
11 passed. No fumbles.
You succeed your spell research. You do not blow up, and you do not summon a potted plant or a flump or anything of the kind.
Cool.
You have successfully researched a first level spell or cantrip.
First level spell. It's 200
First
gold.
level spell. The creation of a new spell. Something is born into the world anew. And that is 10 days of your 18 total.
Yes. And
Of
then
your
the rest-
28 total.
Yeah. And the rest of it, he'll spend time working. And I would just like to make a request. Can I know if Vanessa stopped by?
You mean...
That was the farmer's wife.
Oh, Vanessa. She did stop by. It was only about a day or two into the
Okay.
downtime. So family ruined. I'm just kidding. As
I
you,
think her husband's like MIA. Maybe he's dead. You don't know.
that makes this all better. No. So 2 weeks working. Or 18 days working at Black Sheep.
I want to try and get high clients if I can.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a performance check.
Performance check. Can this be after my spell research, or is it kind of done?
It doesn't matter one way or the other.
Could
So,
I?
yes,
use-
absolutely.
I guess I can't use a spell to help enhance these things. 'cause it's
No,
over.
these are just straight rolls.
Oh, there's an extra +1 to this. So 26.
26. Okay, that's pretty good. You do manage to get. Let me roll
I have
that.
to roll a D, whatever the days is, so a D18.
14 days. Jesus. This is going to be some crazy money, actually. So you work at a high-end brothel or a high-end performance stage?
Whatever I can find.
Okay. I'd say that after your conversation with Theo, he actually extends the invitation to a performance. And of these days, that's performance proficiency is crazy for downtime cash. You gain 112 gold pieces. You can roll to attempt to modify that if you want.
No, I'm not chancing not getting nothing if I roll a 1. That's stupid.
Yeah, it'd be wild. So that is those 14 days. And for the remaining 4 days, you gain 8.
Cool.
Rich
And how
bards.
much do I lose during the 10 days that I was spell researching?
Thank you.
I think it's 2 gold a day.
It's you lose 20 gold
gold?
pieces.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this
I think.
concludes our downtime.
Could Vincent also have just bought 2 healing potions during that?
That's fine. If anyone else wanted to purchase anything as well, 2 healing potions will be 130 gold for both.
Is
Go
there
ahead.
any
Maybe
way
we'll
I
get
could?
that back to you.
For sure, yeah. We can do that off as well. So go ahead and roll a persuasion check, and then post
Yeah.
that. I think we are jumping out here.
Yeah, he would definitely purchase it in Ishtar's district too, if that helped.
Killian, as you're building your steel defender, every so often Jojo brings you some sandwiches.
Good, because if you hadn't, she wouldn't be eating.
She's used to
She's
this,
guy.
just like her mother.
Yeah.
Mother
Go
forgets
back
to
and you're
eat whenever
just a
she's
husk
stuck in
on the
something.
floor.
There was at least probably one day where like you just go outside and Killian was just like straight up passed out on the ground. And
She
you had
like
to,
puts her amulet of the drunkard on you and pours ale down your throat.
yeah.
You managed to get a decent discount. That brings it down to
It's a 24. I don't know if that
Yeah.
changes it.
that brings it down to 121 gold.
So basically, all the money I just made is gone.
Magic items, yo.
Tilda,
Unending
Normal
flask.
Tilda wants to know if Water Lady wants to come live in Old Town, and she probably would have yelled at Lavos to make her come over here and transport her, because you can do that once in a while.
I will say this. We'll find out next week.
Oh,
Hey, there we go.
Thank you all for watching, and she's willing. Welcome to next week's episode. I'm just kidding. I don't want to hold off on that. I'm so giddy about Quoria.
yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. We'll find out next week. And as we cycle through, thank you all for watching. And if you made it all the way through the downtime rolls to this message, you all get a point of inspiration. Except for my players. No, I'm just kidding. You all gain a point of inspiration and 2 experience points from your current endeavors.
Are we only 1 away from leveling up again?
No.
You are 2 away.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you all.
I thought we got one last time. But yeah.
We will see you next time in Dragonleaf. Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.